tried to find out if there was a way to uh remove his video or whatever and just have ours too. And
Mhm.
there's no way.
Yeah, no, that's just that's
That's
Discord.
just how it is.
So I just have to click on you, and then it just pulls it up. So I'll put
Yeah.
drag bot. So while we're here, let me see what's on Wikipedia's homepage.
Mm-hmm. Gonna make this a thing every week.
No, I just remembered this morning. Honestly, I was gonna forget.
Oh,
To be
okay.
fair, did you know that the sun bear is the smallest of all bear species?
Is it a real bear?
It is a real bear.
Oh, okay. What what are you looking at? They have like I didn't know that Wikipedia has like a featured thing every day.
It's on their homepage, dude. Wikipedia.org,
I don't think I've
the main
ever
page.
gone to Wikipedia's homepage.
You just always like looked at Wikipedia for like what you were looking for, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing. It is 28 inches at the shoulder,
Okay.
and it weighs about 50 to 140 pounds.
Yeah, it's not that big.
It's like a condensed dog bear thing.
Do you think you could domesticate it?
With enough time, yeah, sure. These are domesticatable, probably.
Do you think every animal is domesticatable?
It depends on how much time you have, to be honest.
Sure.
I feel like eventually you'll hit one that's just like, okay, this is gonna take forever, dude.
Mhm.
Uh, It's like the problem is like we've domesticated a lot of animals, like just
Yeah.
in general, and like then you can like put quotes on soft domestication.
It's like horses. I always find it crazy that there's like actual wild horses. You just Cause you just see them and
Horses are terrifying, dude.
yeah. Have you ever seen that horse movie, Spirit, like animated one?
I have seen Spirit,
Yeah,
the wild horse.
yeah, that's crazy.
It's actually not called the wild horse. It's called the of the plains or something like that. Spirit movie horse. Stallion of the Cimarron. There we go.
Mhm. That's I think one of DreamWorks' only 2D animated films. They have like 4 or 5.
Also, apparently voiced by Matt Damon. Come on, dude.
Sure, yeah. Matt
Oh,
Damon shows up in a lot of random stuff.
Matt
He
Damon is ridiculous.
he was, do you remember, Thor: Ragnarok?
I do remember Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, do you remember towards the beginning where Thor goes back to Asgard and Loki has,
Matt Damon playing him.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like yeah, it's Matt Damon playing, yeah, Loki, and then it's Chris Hemsworth's brother playing the fake Thor.
Hmm.
It's like, man, they got why is Matt Damon here?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Dun, 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 dun.
Alright, so Ray.
Yeah, I'm definitely not pulling up the drive right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what we got here. Yeah, sure, man. This is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's good.
Alright, so I'm gonna start off by talking to you about Fire Punch, okay? I'll
Hmm.
I have a few a few criticisms of it, right? Uh, so Do you remember the ending of Fire Punch?
Very vaguely, I do. It's like the destruction of Earth or whatever, and then he becomes like
Yes.
the giant stalk as it
Yeah.
goes up.
Yeah.
Like she's there as well.
Mhm. Okay, so the ending of Fire Punch, right, is and I guess spoilers for Fire Punch manga. If you haven't read it, don't, whatever.
Also, that's really weird. That again, like all of what I just said there, out of context, you'll be like, "What is he saying?"
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you haven't read it, then that doesn't have any meaning to you, but,
Out of context, that's
um,
something that makes no sense.
yeah. So, it ends, right? And Agni, right, main character, he wins, for the most part. The Earth is great, it's getting warmer, we're not in the Ice Age anymore, and then, you know, entire script flips. It's like, "Oh, man, this renaissance we're having isn't going to last much longer." So then the whole tree thing happens, and Judah agrees to be the tree to, like, I don't know, make up for the wrongs that she's done, and so she becomes the tree. Huge, huge tree of life, like, it's like Avatar, but, like, bigger, you know? Remember
Mhm.
the Avatar movie?
It's like you imagine like Jack and the giant beanstalk, dude, except it's
Yeah,
just like if it
yeah,
actually just really, really went all the way, dude.
yeah, all the way past the clouds, and, so yeah, that's, I guess, giving life to Earth, and she's in the tree, she's part of the tree, she's in outer space, again, like you said, that's how far the tree made it, and, she's just up there for millions of years, and then eventually, Earth explodes. I didn't I couldn't tell if it was just like the tree sucking out the last of life from the earth, but she makes a comment to herself where she says, like, something hit the earth, so maybe, like, a meteor hit the earth or whatever. It's not really important, and then so she's flown into space because the tree isn't a thing anymore, and she's in space for another million years, just floating, and then Agni, out of nowhere, runs into her in space, and they're, like, questioning, like, what you are, who you are, that kinda thing, and then they hug, and then the manga ends. And that's how Fire Punch ends.
Yeah. It's a weird anticlimactic ending.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So so I remember finishing it. I finished it a few days ago, and I was just like, "Alright,"
But
you
it's like
know?
the weird thing is that it's like it's all like it's building up. Like the weird thing is the story is building. You know it's building up to something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It has that weird feel that like Devil May Cry Baby also has, where you're like, I don't
Yeah.
know what this is leading up to, but it's leading up to something big.
Mhm.
And as you're going into it, you realize that like everyone around him is dying, okay? And it's just him and Judah at the end,
Yep.
just like how it was at the beginning. It's a weird irony, and similar to Devil May Cry Baby, it's like the world ending, and it's just those two really just recollecting their thoughts. Or in this case, I guess like that's just how the story ends with just them. But this is like, you know, this is something that you could be considered, I guess, what is it like a normal expected ending also, which is weird.
Sure. Yeah.
Hmm. Like not originally, but like nowadays, it's something that you would expect to happen potentially, or an aspect of happening.
Yeah, it reminded me of a bunch of different stuff. It reminded me of Devil May Cry Baby. Yeah, of how the ending was and how it was kinda, like, bigger than everything else, you know? Um, what was the other thing it reminded me of? It reminded me of, Future Diary, how it
Oh yeah,
ends with,
definitely.
the 2 main characters just kind of they kind of outlast everything, and then
Mhm.
I don't remember how that ends. I think they're both like God or something, and then they get out of that. They're like, "We don't want that
Like
anymore."
she's God, and he also becomes God. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Some weird way.
I just thought it was weird because it was I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know.
Then Eva also bends on this a little bit, which is weird, but
Yeah.
not like it's just it's weird. It's like I can say like it is when you think about it as like a thing by itself, it's like wow, this is really good. But then you can't really compare it to anything else.
Yeah.
It's like they have like the weird way to go about direction. There's like the one character obsessed with films the entire time.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
pose things to make things in a more cinematic feel,
Mm.
which is like a really weird, like a meta way to look at the story.
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. She almost breaks the fourth wall a few times,
Mhm.
where it's like she's obviously making references that no one in this world understands, but, like, us as a reader, we know them.
I'm like, okay, yeah, this we're looking at this because no one has the idea of like what films are in this world. It's just
Yeah,
her and the reader understanding this,
mm,
and it hits that point. Like the
she,
pieces are coming back to me as you're talking, so it's good.
yeah, yeah. So her character, she dies.
Mhm,
She dies because she was running away from Agni because they were, like, conflicting on what they wanna do, and, this is around the point where he decided that he's the antagonist of the story, and
mhm,
he's just gonna murder everyone,
mhm,
and, to go save Judah, who he thinks is Luna, and, I don't remember her name, but, you know, the film lady, she's trying to stop him, and then she finally just says, "Whatever," and she leaves him because she's like, "Forget this, the story's over, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do," and then, she falls in the ice lake, the frozen lake, and, because Agni is is on fire, so it melts and stuff, and he saves her, but because he touches her, she bursts into flames, and then we get, like, a whole chapter of her trying to figure out what her last words are gonna be, and then her last word is "live," as she's, like, burnt to a crisp, and this just adds to the motivation of Agni of, like, "Why did you tell me to live? I don't wanna live, I want to just
he
destroy
wants to
me and
repent
everything."
for what he wants to repent for what he's done. Essentially, he hits
Yeah,
that point.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, 'cause, um, for a moment towards the end, he lost his powers. This was after the first time he met Judah, who again he thought was Luna, and, she, like, took away his powers somehow with the tree, and, like, every day for 10 years, he was trying to find different ways to kill himself to again, yeah, like, make up for the things he's done, because he's finally realized that he's murdered, like, hundreds of people on his way here.
let me see what else I'm hitting here. So let's see.
Also, like, do you remember I don't remember his name either. Do you remember the character that was, like that was looking up to him a lot? He, like, got his legs
Sam.
yeah, he got his legs ripped off.
Mhm.
He just got, like, robot legs. Like, he was, like, super fast after that. Thought that was weird. I don't remember him getting robot legs.
It's because like his legs did get ripped off, so they replaced them. But I mean,
Well, yeah,
I don't know
and
why robot, but
and then he was fighting him, and, he couldn't win, you know?
see,
'Cause then he could
TV tropes. They also call it the Gainax ending,
okay.
where the ending makes sort of no sense. It's coined because of Eva. That's exactly why it's coined entirely.
Another show I thought of when I thought of, Fire Punch? I thought of Darling in the Franxx.
Again, the classic Gainax ending, dude, where
Yeah.
like it makes sort of no sense.
Like, I like the kind of, like, meaning behind it, like, you kinda talked about how it's kind of at the beginning as it is at the end, but, it just kinda makes me feel like, I don't know, the whole thing was almost for nothing, because everyone died in the end anyway, and then there's these 2 people who I guess are never gonna die because they both, have the regeneration thing, so they're just gonna float in space for the rest of their life,
Yeah, and they're just gonna be there together forever.
but they don't actually know each other, though.
Well, at
Like,
that
she
point, yeah, it's really weird.
yeah, because like, she actually isn't Luna.
Mhm.
Like, she isn't his sister, you
But
know?
like he thinks that it's like it's so.
And she, after, like, the first week, she figured out that he wasn't actually her brother, but she played along,
Mhm.
because, she cared for him or whatever.
It's like when I think about like Fire Punch, I did. But I remember when I was reading it for the first time, I thought it blew my mind so much. I put it on like my top list. I'm pretty sure what I
Yeah.
would consider a manga to be at one point because it had a lot of good things going for it. It had great art, great different characters to like look at,
Mhm.
a unique world. You know what I mean? It had a good like story, overarching character. Everything was interesting.
Yeah.
And the story was just in a good place. I felt like it had a lot going for it.
Yeah, the world, I like that a lot where, the first chapter, it just kinda throws you into it, and it doesn't give you any context. You just, like, learn, piece by piece that, there's these blessed people, and the town that they're living in, they're, like, feeding them, and,
But
there's
they don't know that
apparently
though.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. What was the other thing? There's also, like, the ice witch or whatever that froze over
Mhm.
the world, and, yeah, it just kinda throws you into this world that you can tell was already living by the time we got here, and, we're learning about these characters or whatever. Yeah, another thing is I feel like there's a lot of twists and turns in this manga. I feel like, uh, I can never really tell what was gonna happen next. I feel like there's a lot of, very, very hard 90-degree angles, you know what I mean?
That's one of the beauties of this manga, actually, I think,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
yeah.
it was not afraid to, like, go in a different direction,
Yeah.
but somehow the direction always made sense, which is, like, really weird when you think about it. If you look at
Oh,
it,
yeah,
like, from the
yeah.
outside, you're like "It still works though." It's not like it didn't work, it's like, it worked
Yeah, yeah.
somehow.
I mean, the very first one for me was I think I actually talked to you about this already, but when his sister dies and, he becomes Fire Punch, it's like I think it's like the first chapter maybe or the second
Mhm.
chapter or something,
Yeah.
where it's like, "Oh, she's really dead, and
Mhm.
he's really this, like, superhero now," like, because obviously the first few pages or whatever, that's not what I thought this manga like, obviously, you see the cover art and you're like, "Okay, this guy's gonna become this thing," but I didn't expect it to happen so early, and
Mhm.
for this relationship they built up between the brother and the sister, I didn't think that we wouldn't see that after the first chapter, you know? But
Mhm.
yeah, it obviously worked because then the whole thing was about revenge or whatever, so
It's wonderful. It's not afraid to also, like, take the risks of, like, killing off certain characters
yeah,
in the moment or making it, like what I should say, the brutality it gives to some things is just it's the right amount of brutality. It's not, like, over the top with it. It puts just enough where it's like, "Okay, this is still fine."
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that lends well to his character,
Mhm.
where he never really wanted to kill people, like, he was never intentionally evil until the very end. And, he just wanted to wanted to find that dude, I don't remember his name, like Doma, I think that's his name, something
Yeah,
like that.
Doma, yeah.
Yeah, he just wanted to get to him, and, there's a lot of people along the way that were afraid of him and were against him, and when he finally made it to the big the big place where Doma was, and they were also keeping a bunch of other blessed people,
Mhm.
that's where, San was, where he got his legs ripped off,
Mhm.
and they're, like, leeching off of him, basically.
Yeah. Also, like, let's consider what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, like, it's very unique that, like, he doesn't actually have fire powers. My man's
Mhm.
just literally on fire.
Yeah, he's just on fire, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one of
because
those things that, like, you don't think. Like, you see, you're like, "Oh, fire punch." He must, like, like, punch, it goes on fire. That's
yeah,
what he
yeah,
does. I mean, yes, but, like, he doesn't have, like he just has super great regenerative powers. He's
yeah,
just always burning. He's always in pain.
yeah, and that fire just so happens to be the special fire that never goes out.
Mhm,
'Cause I like, later on, towards the end, when he's trying to get his powers back,
mhm,
and he keeps, like, burning himself, he gets, like, a torch and, like, puts it through his skull,
mhm.
and you expect that to be, like, the moment where he becomes Fire Punch again, but it just goes out, and then he, regenerates his face again, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, it's not just any fire." Again, yeah, he doesn't have
Mhm.
fire powers. He has to get that special fire from Doma.
So, it's a very unique aspect on, like, what the world does
Mhm,
with the power structure. It works. It
mhm.
somehow works.
I
I
would have loved to
appreciate it.
see more stuff about some of the other blessed that we see. Like,
Mhm,
we see other blessed at that place where those people are trying to kill him, and they, like, bring up, blessed that they've captured from, like, the lower floors, and they're, like, super dangerous. Uh, I think one, like, controls wind or something. They're just like, "Oh, they're really big, dude," and, you know, Agni just takes care of them easily, but, uh, there's a lot of other really cool blessed characters in here that we only saw for a little bit.
I feel like that has to do with, like, the idea of it being, like, a production where Agni is the main character, and that's where it's gonna be driven upon.
Mhm,
It's the entire meta idea behind that,
mm.
where it's like, "Oh, yeah, we could focus on these guys, but we don't care because it's Agni's story." Mm,
Yeah, I think that's interesting that they took it that way, especially introducing the film character to kinda drive that home, where it's like, yeah, he is the main character. And then she was also, like, really good too. She was, like, a really good fighter. Like,
mhm.
her introduction was, like, really cool, with her on the train and her filming, and then those guys coming up, ruining stuff for other people on the train, trying to take their, like, money or something, and she just destroyed all of them.
In my opinion, she legitimately is the best character, in my opinion, for the manga,
Yeah.
only because she defines everything that's happening.
Mm,
She's the one who drives everything,
mm.
in a weird way. She, like, pushes the direction that it's going in.
Yeah. I mean, she played both sides, a few times where she was helping Agni, like, learn to control his powers or whatever, but then she also, behind his back, went to the enemies, people that was trying to kill him, and was like, "Okay, here, Agni's gonna be here tomorrow at this time, he's gonna try to do this," and yeah, she helped them set a plan, but it was always all for her own, for her movie, I guess, in the end.
She's trying to make, like, this wonderful, spectacular hero idea.
Yeah.
So she's just trying to make it as good as possible. Trying to
Mhm.
push Agni to see will he, like, fall here and this be, like, a tragic story, or is this gonna be something he'll always just overcome?
Yeah.
It's a really weird idea to think about.
Yeah. I think someone else doesn't someone else in the manga mention Star Wars?
I think so, man. I gotta go back. Star Wars.
Doesn't does, like, one of Doma's kids that he's taking care of at the end, like, mention Star Wars or something? I might be thinking of a different manga. I'm not sure.
Star Wars.
Because, like, she, of course, she name drops a bunch of different stuff. Like, "Oh, it's gotta be like this or like that," and, again, trying to teach him about character development and stuff like that, but I thought someone else mentions Star Wars.
I think it's just her, dude.
It's just her?
Think so.
Okay.
Because I see the line right here where she's just saying, "I'm gonna raise that culture to the exact same level as the era when they made Star Wars so I can watch the next movie in the franchise."
Yeah, yeah. Someone else, oh, I don't remember who it was. Oh, no, it was okay, so this is something different.
Mhm,
Doma took, some of or all of, her movies. He, like, found where she stashed them, and then that's, I guess, why he became the, like, fire person that he was, that then eventually, gave Agni his fire powers because he watched a movie about a fire-wielding superhero,
mhm.
and then later on, he burned all of her movies. That's why at the end, she was, like, super mad at him, and she figured it out, and she was trying to kill him or whatever, and Agni was like, "No, don't kill him. He's got children." Even though I feel like Doma deserved to die. Like, he ruined everything, you know?
It's also weird considering that Doma's not really, like, a villain per se.
Yeah.
Mhm. He just, like, came by the village. He's like, "Oh, they're eating human arms?
Mhm.
Like, they're eating human body parts in this village? It's a village of
Yeah.
cannibals? Nah." Turns
Yeah, I
out
mean,
he just didn't know everything.
he was just he was literally just doing his job.
He's
You
like,
know,
"I was
his
gonna stop them, dude. They're doing this. Those are
yeah.
cannibals."
I mean, his initial job was to just go to places and find able bodies to, like, join him in the, like, army or military or whatever they were building up, and then he went there and was like, "This is a place full of freaks. We have to we have to kill everyone here."
These guys are it turns out they're not good, dude. It's like
Yeah,
they're eating people. I don't know if you
yeah.
know this.
I mean, frankly, if I went somewhere and I saw a bunch of cannibals, I wouldn't really wanna associate with any of them, you know? Even though they had good reason to. I mean, the whole Ice Age thing that's going on. If they didn't do that, they would all be dead anyway. Let's see some other characters that I would like to see more of too. Remember the girl with, she was the one trying to initiate the whole tree thing, and, like, half of her face was a tree?
You know, when you said it, I remembered it. But if you didn't say
Yeah.
that before, I would not remember it at all.
Yeah, 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 she was the one that was she had this whole plan, and, like, her whole thing was, uh, blessings aren't, like, tools. They're, like, actual real things that you can ask
Mhm.
for, and if you, like, manipulate, uh, your prayers or whatever, you can get them. And I guess that was her way to actually build the tree, make it a whole thing. She died way too quickly as well. We saw her for, like, 5 chapters, and then she got her head taken off by San. I'd like to see more of her too and, like, how she got to where she was and, like, how she used her blessings and stuff like that. 'Cause she was very much a radical when it came to her way of thinking in this world.
It's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's good to have radical ideas to show how extreme some could be. It's a great way.
And so the Ice Witch was a real person or not?
No, it was just the Ice Age, dude.
Okay, yeah. Because I don't remember who said that they were the Ice Witch, and they were talking to, Judah, I think,
Mhm.
back when we first saw it, and she was like, "I'm the Ice Witch, I did this stuff." But, I guess not, she obviously wasn't, she was just, I don't know, trying to use that story to get some power or something.
Mhm. Yeah, no. Like, the Star Wars film lady is, like, she's older than anyone in the main cast, really,
Yeah.
because she was around when films were around.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
because she has her it's, like, part of her regeneration, right?
Yeah,
How she just has, like, lived forever or, like,
yeah,
400 years or something crazy.
exactly. So, like, she just wants to, like she knows everything's, like, an Ice Age and everything,
Yeah.
and she's
Oh,
just,
yeah,
like, chilling.
yeah. 'Cause I remember, her, like, talking to Agni, and remember in the beginning, Agni told his sister that he remembers when you could still, like, swim and stuff like that, which would obviously be before the Ice Age, and then
Mhm.
you find out later that he was lying. He wasn't even close to being around at that time. But then,
Mhm.
yeah, then she comes around, and she's like, "No, I actually was here when, right before the Ice Age hit."
She's a very
Mhm.
relatable character. I mean, her favorite actor is Tom Cruise. I don't know what to say.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I remember reading that, yeah.
She likes Star Wars, likes Tom Cruise. I mean, pretty normal. Again, Tom Cruise is an actor, I will say. Great actor. I don't
Yep,
have anything to speak about in his actual public relations.
yep, sure. Mission Impossible is a good franchise.
It is a good franchise, and
Yeah,
he does all his stunts. That's
he does,
crazy.
yeah. He's crazy.
So he makes them work. I mean, but it's like,
I remember there was a scene in one of the newest Mission Impossibles where he actually, like, hurt himself. He, like, twisted his ankle or something,
like
like like, during like, doing a stunt, like, them actually rolling and stuff, and they kept that take as the one to show in the movie because it was perfect. So I guess, like, at the I think he jumped from, like, one roof to another or something like that. and,
Classic move.
in the scene in the movie, you can actually see, like, as he lands, like, stumbles a little bit, and he's, like, a little slow to get off. So it's like, yeah, that is the take they used.
It's like I think he do some, like, helicopter stunts as well,
Yeah,
like, hanging from helicopters. It's like, are you who
yeah.
pay yeah, I understand who pays him for this, but it's like, he's taking it anyway.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He must be
Yeah,
some type of adrenaline junkie.
oh, yeah, definitely, has to be. He did the one thing, where he was actually hanging off of a 747,
Yeah,
airplane.
yeah,
He was, like,
yeah,
hanging
yeah,
out the window.
yeah, yeah, that was another one of the Mission Impossible movies, yep.
Yeah, yeah, and they were like, "Tom, no. You can't do this."
I mean, you got a parachute, but still, my guy.
Yeah. Never wanna be outside the plane. You always wanna be inside the plane.
Inside's nice, dude. They have, like, free peanuts.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Five Guys?
No.
Alright.
I do wanna go to Five Guys if you're
In
gonna ask me.
Five Guys, they have, they have free peanuts.
For real, dude?
And yeah, yeah, and they have, like, cups, and you can just take a cup, and then you, like, scoop in the big box of peanuts, and you eat peanuts. Like the ones you gotta, like, crack and open, you know what I mean?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking those peanuts, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's just free peanuts. It's
'Cause
like,
I
why
was like, who would just have, like, the small little peanuts that you can just go in a cup and
yeah, no,
take?
no, no. Yeah.
Are they, like, boiled peanuts or just, like, normal peanuts?
Uh, I don't know what you mean.
They have boiled peanuts, that's a thing. People can look that up.
I've never heard of
Boiled
them.
peanuts. I think it's a southern thing, really.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Is
Mhm.
that just to, like, make them softer?
Like, the shells are softer, and, like, you because they boil them, like, you can
Oh,
have, like
okay.
they can, like, they're, like they can have, like, salt in there. It's like they're,
Yeah,
like, pre-salted nuts or whatever.
yeah.
But, like, they put, like, they can, like, make them spicy or, like, sweet with, like, honey and, like but, yeah, like, you get a feel for it.
How do they get salt in the peanut shell?
Well, like, because, like, they have them boiling in, like, a water
Mm.
that has, like, the salt mixed in, so the salt
Uh,
just gets absorbed into it.
have you ever made corn? Corn on the cob?
Boiled corn or grilled corn,
Grilled corn?
grilled corn, and I boiled corn.
Okay, okay. I didn't have anywhere to go with that.
That's cool. I like corn. Corn is great, by the way.
Corn's one of the best vegetables.
My brother would disagree on that. He would be
Well,
like,
he's wrong.
"Corn is," he's wrong. I told him many times he's wrong about it. He's
Is
like,
there, like, a
"Corn
lot
has
of
no value, dude."
nah, he's
But
wrong.
he's right when he says corn has no value. Like, I'm like,
Nah.
"Yeah, of course, like, nutritionally, it's garbage. Like, it does nothing for you, it just goes right through." But I'm like, "But, like, eating corn is, like, delicious."
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Like, corn is one of those foods that it can be sweet, it can be, like, salty, like, it
Mhm.
somehow has, like, that mix, and it's like, "Ooh." You
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
put a little butter on it, you're like, "Ooh, yeah."
And like, what was it? Uh, Macho Man Randy Savage?
"Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
I'll be the Kool-Aid man, dude.
Oh, yeah, Kool-Aid guy, yeah.
What was it? Okay, off topic, but slightly on topic, dude.
Sure.
Apparently, Rooster Teeth Chris Damaris eats cobs. He just sucks on cobs.
That's gross.
He sucks on cobs. Like, already eating corn, the cob, he'll just suck on the cob.
Nah, that's weird. Why?
Once again, proving that he's a freak of nature.
No, 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 no. He also drinks cold soup.
Yeah, again, a freak.
Yeah.
The actual freak.
Now, see, now warm soup, if you put, like, warm soup in, like, a cup, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, and it's not, like, chunky soup,
I
maybe.
I know that there's, like, supposed to be soups that are chilled, right? That you eat they're, like, supposed to be eaten cold,
Oh,
but, like,
yeah,
you know that he's not doing it, though. He's eating, like, soup that's supposed to be warm,
yeah,
cold. Betraying
gazpacho
everyone.
soup is supposed to be cold, right?
I think so. That sounds
I'm
right.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. It's like a cold tomato soup, basically,
That sounds correct.
which is gross, by the way, 'cause I've had tomato soup, and when tomato soup gets cold, not good anymore. Tastes weird.
They must have something in it to, like, make it better than what it is
Yeah,
normally when it's
ice
cold.
cubes.
Yo, honestly, dude, that you're basically just, like, drinking like a V8, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
I like
no.
V8.
Nah, I don't, no.
I'm not gonna hate, I like V8, dude.
I like the, like, fruit and vegetable V8, you know the ones that taste like
Those are still
not
good by my
vegetables.
opinion.
What?
I like both. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like it's hard for me to disagree.
nah. I'll just say something after that. Have you ever put ice cubes in soup before? This is a real question.
I have, yes. When like
Okay.
the soup's like super hot, dude,
Yes.
and I just want to eat it immediately, dude. I'll
Mhm.
take an ice cube and toss it in there, stir it around a bit. Be like, is it cold enough now to eat? Nope. We take a couple more ice cubes, we put it in. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, this is good. But that's like nowadays though, I don't do it only because I'm so lazy. I'll rather just wait for it.
Oh, yeah, same, same, yeah.
I'll be like, but like if I'm ever like super hungry, dude, I know I'll do it, dude. I'll be like, just toss them in, dude. We got this.
I like the idea of you of you having soup, right? And it's just a bowl of soup, it's really hot, it's like a cartoon, you can see the little steam, you know what I mean, whatever, and you're just like, "It's too hot." So you just take a full tray of ice cubes and you just crack the whole thing over the soup.
But eat it. Now I need more soup, dude.
More soup. Um, have you seen these things? It's like little plastic balls, right? And you put them in the freezer, and it's like reusable ice cubes, basically.
Yeah.
Have you ever used those?
No.
Right.
I do like the like ice cube sphere, the ice sphere. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? The ones
Mhm.
that you can buy, like the molds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One because they look so cool. Like you can apparently get them like clear. I'm like,
Yeah.
clear, dude? You can get them clear? But then like the question is, how do you get clear ice though? Like how can you guarantee you get clear ice?
Well, apparently if you use, like, distilled water,
Hmm.
you get clear ice, cause the reason that it gets frosty is cause like, water's impure, there's
Hmm.
a bunch of, like, other stuff in water, especially in, like, Schenectady water, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we got a lot of fluoride in our water.
Yeah. It cleans your teeth, though,
Does.
right? Or no?
Yeah. I mean, it keeps. I guess it strengthens your enamel.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So, is, uh is Fire Punch ever gonna get anime?
I think no. I think Chainsaw Man is going to get an anime.
Yeah?
That's the author's next work. I think that one's gonna get an anime.
Okay.
Hmm.
How closely do you follow authors for manga?
Somewhat closely. It depends. Like
Yeah.
I try to keep a tab on like all the ones I've read or like know or heard of their works. Like
Mhm.
I know the author of Bleach, his one is coming out. I think like the one shot. Let me just find the name of it real quick because it's been so long.
Yeah,
Burn the Witch is like the creator of like Bleach, Kubo Tite or Kubo Tite. I don't know how you say his name.
okay.
It's the manga that he was supposed to release. He released like the one shot a while ago, so long ago, and the anime for that is going to be out, and then the manga production is going to start up as well. I was just waiting for him to come up with it because it's been so long. But Burn the Witch had a good concept. I completely forget what it was, but like, yeah, man. When I read, it, I was like, can't wait for this to come out.
Mm.
It's not that he's a bad author. It's literally that Jump told him you gotta finish it now, and it's like, I told you, you gave me 2 or 3 weeks, dude. It's like, no, you just gotta finish it now, dude. It's like, okay.
I imagine that working for one of those big companies has gotta be stressful.
I mean, like, think like they got a team of redrawers, okay,
Yeah.
to help them as well, and then they gotta make at least like normal chapter length. You're talking like 20, 30 chapter, 20, 30
Yeah,
pages,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a normal chapter. But then, like, let's say you got like a really big chapter, dude. You're talking like 50, 60 pages. Let's say you're talking like double pages, like entire length pages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, and then like sometimes for those pages, you got to go detailed as possible. Like the spreads are just ridiculous.
Mm.
And then like if your popularity's too low, well, you got to try to get the popularity back up. That's what happened with Bleach. It's like you're too unpopular right now. Your
Yeah,
numbers
lose
aren't
her.
as high as they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your numbers weren't as high, so we're gonna cut you early. We
Mhm.
told you this much time, but we're gonna cut you early. The numbers are too low. I mean, you could have just gave him 3 weeks, dude. He's literally leaving in like 3 weeks. I don't know what to say. But I understand that from like a business perspective, it's like you're not helping us sell this manga anymore. Your popularity rankings are pretty low. However, it's also on the contrary though that like if you say final chapter, people are about to pick this up.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Mhm. Just
Didn't,
read.
some big manga just had its last chapter. Was it Demon Slayer just had its last chapter?
Demon Slayer just had her last chapter. I have not read it.
Yeah,
I have not caught up with Demon Slayer.
yeah. I
To
haven't
be
read Demon
honest,
Slayer yet.
Demon Slayer, I'm about as far as what's in the anime. So
Mhm.
I think I just started Hell Train, and then people are gonna be like, "Wow, you just started Hell Train? That's so old." Like that movie's coming out. Yeah, I know the movie's coming out.
Mhm.
I have not been feel like keeping up with Demon Slayer. I should, but like,
Yeah. What are you gonna do, you know? So, Ray, moving on, I started another manga as well.
ooh, let's go.
I guess Fire Punch, I finished it, but
And you enjoyed it. What do you think about it out of a 10?
oh, yeah, probably give it, like an 8, probably, solid 8.
I
I
have to
think
go
that
reread it to get my thoughts again. I gave it a 10 because I don't know, man. I was like, what was I feeling when I was reading that? It was just like it was just fresh and new to me. If I give
yeah,
it a
definitely,
reread, I'll probably give it a 9. I'm not gonna lie about it.
definitely. I mean, yeah, I
Mhm,
mean, Fire Punch is probably one of my favorite manga I've read so far. I mean, I haven't read that many, so I don't really
mhm.
have have a whole lot to put it up against, but
I try to give you like stuff that's already done, so you can kind of like,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
if it's going, I try to give you stuff that at least comes out like on a somewhat good basis,
Yeah,
and it's like light and short, so you can stay with it.
mhm.
Try to at least feed you stuff like that.
Uh, yeah, an 8. I mean, I think the ending was weird. I don't think the ending was bad, you know what I mean? But I it wasn't exactly what I wanted the ending to be, and, I don't know. 8's good, I think. I think it's fine, you know?
Like, mhm. Like, it's just like, it's an experience. I recommend anyone who, like, would be thinking of something to read it's a little bit, like, different,
Yeah.
and if you're okay with some of the themes in there, then yeah, sure, pick up Fire Punch.
It's
Because
also
Fire
not
Punch it has some
mhm.
weird, like, sexual themes as well as some violent themes.
It does, yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
So if you're okay with, like, that type of, going into it like that, it's nothing like Devil May Cry Baby, but you have to be
Yeah.
okay with going into it.
It's also not that long. It's like 70 chapters or something like that.
It's pretty condensed, and, like,
Yeah.
it gives a full story throughout that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
feel that you've
definitely.
come a long way.
Yeah. Um, Side note, before I talk about the other manga I started, um, I now understand your Chihuahua spy family reference from last episode.
Let's go.
I read that chapter and I was like, "That's what Ray was talking about."
Like, knowledge is a swole chihuahua, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember who it was, the, like, brother was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
What?
Um,
He's like, "I quit."
yeah,
He
I'm
just
done.
walked
You're hopeless. That's what
he walked away.
to be fair, though, she didn't fail any of the tests.
Spoilers, by the way, but yeah,
Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter.
no one really cares. But she passed with, like, 30s, my
Yeah, like
dude.
30s?
I don't know what the UK grading system is, let me hit you with this one, but, like,
And then Yor was like, "Yeah, but if you add up all the numbers, that's like 100." And he was like, "That's not how that works. You can't do that."
so good, dude. And she's so smug that she passed.
She is, yeah.
She's like, "I'm so smart."
Yeah. Um, so I started Act Age off of another one of your recommendations.
I think I sent the text message as well that Act Age is also getting an
Yeah.
anime adaptation.
Yeah, it's getting an anime
It deserves
adaptation.
it 100%.
Yeah, so spoilers for the first I'm up to, like, 20 something chapters right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, spoilers for first 20 so chapters of Act Age.
Yeah, it's pretty good, dude.
Um, for reference for you, Ray, they just finished filming the Death Island movie,
First
and
movie done. That's
yeah,
nice.
and it ended with the scene of them, on the beach with fireworks, and everyone was signing her shirt, which was
Mhm.
funny. Um, so yeah, this is good manga so far. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Um, her whole crazy deep method acting thing is crazy
Mhm.
with her, like, uh, I don't know, her just, you know, everyone else, like, not understanding it, and, like, how can you not play this character because, you have to, like, feel it, you have to have experienced it. Uh, but I mean, out she outacts pretty much everyone, with everything she's in,
Mhm,
you know? Because of this, even with her auditions, when they had where they're, washed up ashore of an island, and you got the four people, they're in teams, that's how they audition, I guess, and, they have to get from, "You just washed up on a desert island," to, "You're gonna have to kill each other in 5 minutes." And the other 3 actors playing the scene as an actor should, doing a pretty good job,
mhm,
but then Yonagi coming in and being like, "No, this ain't how we're doing it," you know, uh, her first thing to disrupt their entire flow was questioning how they know if this island is even deserted, which I thought was really cool because, of course, if you just washed up on an island, you wouldn't immediately assume that this island is deserted, like, there's no one on it, you haven't even looked around or anything like that.
mhm,
And the only reason that the other 3 played the scene like it was a desert island is because they're actors and they were given a script, you
mhm.
know?
They were
But
told, "This is a desert
yeah,
island."
yeah, because the director was like, "Hey, also, this is a desert island." But then Yonagi actually, putting herself like this is real life, she's like, "I don't know why we're just all assuming this." I just really like that. That's just one example of how she just, I don't know, gets, like, enveloped in the thing she's in, which obviously sometimes it's very good and very bad for the people around her.
Great, it's great. Good news is 20 chapters, you that's, like, the taste, I'd say. Looks like you, like, finally getting it. Like, that's, like, the
Yeah,
first bunch that you get. It's like, yeah, this is the first arc.
yeah. I really liked it. I like the dynamic between her and Chiyuko, the angel,
So
right?
good. So good.
Because
They're both wonderful characters for different reasons.
yeah, so good. I love when she finally breaks her mask.
It's like they're both rivals and they both appreciate each other, but they also want to be better than the other, and they also it's a
Yeah,
weird, like, hate-love relationship going on there.
it's like Pokemon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I
So,
mean I mean,
Pikachu just wants to
they're
beat up Ash sometimes.
yeah, yeah, sometimes, especially in the beginning.
My man fried him on a bicycle, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I mean
Misty
I
was
mean,
like, "You gotta pay for these damages."
yeah, he's like, "I don't have any money. I don't I don't know what you're doing. My Pikachu is sick, miss. We have to get to a center."
"The Charmander's tail is going to go out, I don't know what you're saying."
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
It's a great run. I have not been caught up recently, I gotta go back and, check what chapter I'm on. Why different.
Yeah, because
Super, super.
in total, I think there's like 110 chapters, something like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of deep, honestly, if that's the case. I guess it's like 113, but, like, let's check, like, chapter 85 and see if I've already read this.
I don't know if we're going to, but I would like to see more of Chiyuko's character at some point. I don't know if we're ever gonna revisit her again, but, I think that their dynamic was probably the most interesting dynamic between 2 characters we've seen so far, and them being, like, pretty much total opposites when it comes to their approach to acting was really cool to see, and then them very much butting heads, the entire production, and, the director even referring to Yonagi as the bulldozer
Mhm,
because that's literally what she does. She just owns a scene, like how, they were filming some kinda scene where they were running away from one of the other people, trying to kill them, as you do,
mhm,
and the director should have yelled "cut" right before they got to the cliff, but he didn't, so Yonagi was like, "Well, I mean, the scene's still going," so she jumped off the cliff, and like, the assistant director or whatever was like, "What is she doing? You're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to cut." Go down, walk down there, and then film a second scene, and then stitch them together or whatever. And he was like, "Well, we did I should have called cut, but we didn't. So let's just see what happens," you know?
mhm,
And then the other actors followed after her also jumped off the cliff, and, yeah, they were 3 what was it, like, 3 hours behind production that day, but
Mhm.
the scene was great. Scene was awesome.
First of all, it's like, yeah, you could cut there, or you could just have them jump.
Yeah, or let me throw this other option at you.
It's like, this makes it look like it's more real if
Yeah,
they
because
just jump.
because it is. They literally jumped.
It's like, to be fair though, I mean, like, they could that also could be a plan shot, but I mean,
Mhm.
to be fair, like, they weren't thinking about it.
No, they
It's like,
weren't either.
you can plan that shot really, you can just, like, get, like, a mat set up, big jump,
Mhm.
you can land here, cut, we're good, go to the next shot.
Yeah.
No, let's have them actually just, like, jump and, like, hurt themselves and, like, keep going from here. You
Mhm.
twisted your ankle? Keep running.
Yeah,
We
keep going.
don't have time for this.
That was like, Juko was like, "Listen, you can get injured, but you can't hurt your face, you know? If you get injured
Mhm.
anywhere else, we can always redo the take, but if you hurt your face, it's over."
Fact.
Mm.
I just remembered, like, all the arcs, dude, as you just as you were saying stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Actage is pretty good," dude.
Yeah.
I was this came back real easy compared to Fire Punch right there. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, "Yikes, dude." I was like, Actage is, like, spot on what it
I mean,
does.
I like Ice Age a lot so far, you know? We'll see how it goes, of course.
It's like the arc I was on before this was pretty good. I'm on another arc right now.
Mhm.
These are I'll say they're plays. They're not gonna be movies,
Okay.
what I'm doing right now. So, like, we're doing, like, play arcs now, I guess?
Well, I think the one where I'm about to go into is a play because it kinda ends on, like, a cliffhanger sorta, kinda, where
Mhm.
it's like, "Oh, uh, Yonegi's next, mission is now on the stage," or whatever.
Yeah, like, I just remembered it, like, you're gonna go it's so good, it's so good. I can't say anything, you just gotta read it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super good. It's her character, Yonagi, and, like, the growth of it, I guess, because you can't just have her, like, not grow. She grows
Yeah.
as an actor, she grows as a character, and that's what makes her, like, do the method acting, she has to grow. Like, that's what makes her the method actor.
Yeah.
It's about growth.
I mean, yeah, I like, there's multiple times in this manga where people are kind of watching her act or whatever, and they make the comment of her learning acting in a very unorthodox way, where she's almost learning how to act backwards, you know? Where she, you know, at first she has no idea how to play a character she's never lived before, and then later she has to learn, uh, how the cameras see her, you know, and not just from her own, first person point of
Perspective,
view.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
which is crazy 'cause, like, those 2 things are probably 2 of the first things you learn as an actor is, like, where to stand, what people see you, and then, you know,
mhm.
how to play a character. That's kind of what acting is.
She does it so wonderfully, and it's like she always has to relate it to herself, which is a part of that makes that motivation
Mhm.
wonderful to see.
Yeah, I mean, when they were when she was auditioning for something, it was, like, her very first audition,
It was
and
like one of the commercials, right?
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, yeah, and, there was a bunch of actors in the room or whatever, you know, of course, wanting to get the part or whatever, and they threw a scene at them that was a feral dog is now attacking you, you know? And Yonagi at first had no idea what to do. She's like, "I've never been attacked by a dog before. I don't know how to act." But then she, again, relates it to herself by imagining that this dog is attacking not only her, but her siblings.
mhm,
And then with that, she has an amazing performance where she acts like the dog, like, bit her arm, and then she, like, body slams it and starts punching it,
mhm,
which was kinda funny. Yeah, and but then her take on the scene was the best out of everyone
mhm.
because it was real, you know? It
She
wasn't
goes
just
hard, dude.
people.
She goes
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, definitely.
It's like again, and I think another quote that they pull up is that her acting is very what they consider dangerous as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Mhm. They're like, "This is a dangerous type of acting."
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, there's a ton of people that are, advising her manager, I don't remember his name, but, uh, to, like, be careful with her and, like, maybe just don't, uh,
Well, it's like,
take her on as a
the idea
client.
is like She can, like, make or break the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like she'll either be, like, the biggest thing ever or, like, a flop. It's like you're betting on this right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
I mean, so far, pretty good, you know?
mhm.
There was that one, like, job she got, though, where she was supposed to be an extra, and she did not get that part because
Yeah,
she
she's too much for an extra.
yeah, she
Mhm,
she, like, kicked the dude, just, like, wrecked him in the
mhm.
scene. She was not supposed to do that, and then later, she was being afraid too good, like, the scene, she was stealing it away from the actual the actual
Yeah,
stuff in the foreground that was happening.
mhm,
And yeah, she's just too good, you know?
mhm.
She even almost killed one of her fellow actors in the
Death
desert
Island?
island, yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
she, like, ripped off a piece of the set and was gonna was gonna hit him with it.
Yeah, yeah, she goes hard. It's great. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. It's great manga.
Highly
And it's getting
recommend.
an anime, so that's cool.
The sad thing is when it's getting anime, I know it's gonna end at Death Island, dude. So it's like
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
it's like, it's like, "Ugh, you're gonna end at Death Island, dude? That's it's like there's so much more. Unless they make it 2 arcs, 24 episodes, but they're not going to. They're gonna make it 12.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, hopefully it does well enough and they, were able to do multiple seasons.
again, like the potential for the show to pog off into an anime
Mhm.
is too high. However, this can easily be screwed up though. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's like this anime has to be like literally everything has to be perfect with it, or like this will not pass at all, and no one will want to watch this.
Yeah.
The music quality has to be on point. The animation has to be on point. They have to be able to get good voice actors who are able to emulate what's happening. It's like
Oh, yeah.
everything has to be good. It's like,
Especially with it being an acting and or yeah, acting
yeah.
anime, you know?
Mhm. What was the anime? I forgot the name already.
The anime?
Yeah.
Are you talking about, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Shirobako.
Yeah, you see, like everything has to be on point. It has to be somewhat realistic. You know what I mean?
Shirobako was
G- can-
great.
It has to like have some sense of something there. You know?
Yeah.
It's like if without that sense, it's gonna be utterly trashed. You know?
Do you
Everything
know
will be
who's
like, what
doing
is
it?
this? I don't. It just got announced, so no one knows what's happening right
Okay.
now. No one knows the deal. No one knows the studio. It could be 24, but most likely it's gonna be 12. So like, I'm passing it under as 12 right now.
Is there a
It can't be a
studio
weird show.
is there a studio that you would want to do it?
Legit, I can't say that, dude. That's harsh.
Yeah, you know?
At this point, I have to say voice actors are prio. If anything, I'm thinking about the studio that maybe did Your Lie in April.
Okay.
Could be a great hit for this.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm. They already have good musical composition on their side to be able to pull that off, and they have decent cinema. Their shots are done well. They know how to do it well, and they have great. The animation's fluid. It works. I'm saying so. They can pull it off.
Yeah, I think that if we just get a studio that really cares,
Mhm.
and actually reads the manga,
It's like
you
a
know,
studio
I
that actually has like the best of the manga in mind. That this could actually
yeah,
pog off into oblivion.
yeah.
It's like I think Studio Orange is actually one of my favorite studios right now, but they're only doing CG, so I can't recommend them for Actage.
What is Studio Orange done?
They're the ones who did Land of Lustrous and Beastars.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like they're pretty good. I can't complain. No complaints there.
Okay. So, using that, I watched I watched all of Beastars.
How's Beastars?
Dude, it was so good. It was so great.
How does it feel to join the world of furries?
You know, it's a thing.
How did it feel in episode 2 when like you saw Haru
Oh,
naked?
was that episode 2?
Believe so. End of episode
That
2 at
seems
least.
very early.
It's end of episode 2. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Um,
that was a
w
joke. It wasn't supposed to be answered.
yeah, yeah.
Beastars is wonderful. It's great. It's beautiful. It's everything Zootopia wanted to do if it was an adult setting.
Yeah, if it wasn't a Disney film.
If it was not a Disney film, this is what Zootopia would be, and it's wonderful and beautiful.
It took a couple of turns that I didn't expect, like, towards the end where there was just, the whole black market thing.
Oh, the anime kind of pogs off towards the end in comparison to the manga, so I have to explain stuff. So you
Yeah?
finished all of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna have anime and manga spoilers.
Okay.
Pre-warned,
So,
obviously.
um, okay. So, the ending is
Thoughts on ending?
so it's basically what's the main character's name again?
Legosi,
Okay, Lugosi. He's like, "Man, Haru got kidnapped. Can't be having that." By the whatever, the,
the
like
Shinsengumi,
yeah, Lion Yakuza.
the Lion Gang. You can call them Lion
Yeah.
Gang.
Gets kidnapped by them, we're like, "Oh, man, can't have that." So he goes to try to find him, and he eventually does, and he gets the inner wolf powers, is able to mess this one dude
Pogging
up.
up.
Yeah, but, oh, man, he's not that good. He's not quite there. So then Panda comes
Your
in
boy comes in,
and just wrecks shop with him. So they're going up, it's basically a video game at this point. They're going up the tower. They're defeating the lions.
taking out the floors. They're like, "This is easy,
Yeah,
dude. Where's the
yeah.
boss?"
The one lion punches the panda right in the nose. Apparently, pandas are very sensitive in the nose and the
They got
mouth.
that big nose for a reason, dude.
Yeah, so man, that's for a moment, I'm like, "Man, panda might die. He might die. It'd be really sad."
Panda's too
Uh,
clean though.
yeah. So he goes up to the top, and this caught me off guard. Um, I don't know how it happened in the manga, but in the anime, we cut to Haru, you know, captured, of course,
Mhm.
and she's, like, writing her will, basically being like, "Hey, I'm about to die."
She's like, "I'm a rabbit who's going to die. I'm
Yeah,
writing this because he told me
yeah,
to."
um, and then Legacy comes out, reaches for her hand, is like, "Hey, you good? You okay? Everything okay?" And then she's like, "Whoa, why are you here?" And then it cuts to reality. Apparently, that wasn't really happening, which I didn't know, because in reality, she's, still just in the room kidnapped by the one headline, the main line, Mufasa, and, and she's, about to get oh, no, he's trying to scare her because he says, like, uh, blood rush makes the meat taste better or something.
Yeah. Gets the
So
muscles, like the blood flowing, the meat gets richer and all
yeah,
that stuff.
and she has, like, like, Jimmy Neutron brain blast, right, where she's like, "Hey, uh, I'm I'm ready to die, so it's all good. So, I'm not gonna
She's
sit
like
here."
she's like, "I've been waiting for this my entire life."
Yeah, yeah, uh she's like, "I'm not gonna be scared. I'm not gonna give you blood meat, right? So you're just gonna have to live with eating, bad tasting meat." And he's like, "I can't have that. I'm gonna have to turn it up." So then he, like, attacks her and gets her scared again. It's like, "Oh, no, it's awful." And then this is when Legacy actually comes in, busts through the doors, and,
The hero,
yeah,
your guy.
uh and then yeah, and then he fights the lion. He still sucks. He's not as good as he thinks he is. And then he turns to Haru and he's like, "You might want to close your eyes. I don't want you to see this part of me." And then he goes into Power Ranger Megazord, and he gets the red eyes, and then he kills the lion in like 2 seconds. It's all it took was 2 seconds of Power Ranger fluid in his body, and then it ends very nice, I guess, with him reaching his hand out to her and she takes it. It's like, "Oh, man, it's all good." And there's, like, an epilogue where,
This is what I'm
um,
waiting for, dude.
where he wants to be with her, right? And
Mhm.
she, like, runs away from him. She's like, "Oh, no, we can't be together. It's not natural. There's no telling that you'll not eat me or something." And then he's like, "No, I won't do that." And then they end on, like, a shot of them looking out onto the city, and he's like, I'll grow, I'll fight my instincts, and I'll, defy society or whatever, and then they hold hands, and then the episode ends.
Did they show anything with Lewis in the ending? Question mark.
Lewis, he kills the main lion. He,
Okay.
like, puts a gun in his mouth, and, because with his whole thing he's a very interesting character. Um,
Lewis may be one of the better characters, honestly.
yeah, I don't know if we see any part of him in the epilogue little sequence. 'Cause I know he puts a gun in his mouth, and I'm pretty sure he kills him. I don't know if we see it or not, but I'm assuming he does. And then Yeah, I don't think we see anything after that.
Okay. So like Lewis is like the pog off dude. Okay, he's the one who's like you're supposed to be really watching. You
Mhm.
watch Legacy all the time, so you have an idea of what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You understand like his side of the story. Everyone should be looking at Lewis when they're like when you're going back through Beastars at least. Keep an eye on Lewis, see what he's doing because he's doing things like behind the scenes. Like he has like his like, you know his agenda. You know he's like he wants to be the B star. He's
Yeah.
like let me get everything settled here. Uh, Acting's fine. He wants the acting club to be good. He's like this is what we got to do. It's all like going well. He has his own plans. He's trying to keep everything fluid. Him and like he has like this weird love hate relationship with Lugosi. He's like Lugosi. He's like kill me, and Lugosi actually turns up. He's like hold up. This is not what we signed up for. I was
Yeah.
joking. It was a joke. It was a joke.
He has a very cool backstory when we finally see it in, like, the 3rd to last episode.
Oh yeah, he
Um,
was like a slave.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chained him up in like the back alley, the
Yep.
black market. Yeah,
Yeah, like, I
and then
have
like his dad just adopted him and saved him.
yeah.
He's like I don't care if you're not blood related to me. You're still my son.
He, yeah. There's a lot of times where I hate him, where, like, he's just getting in the way, and I'm like, "Ah, I don't" but, like, overall, you understand why he's doing the things he's doing, and, I don't know. I think the whole carnivore herbivore thing is a very interesting dynamic that we have in this world, where they are kind of always at odds with each other, and, like, there are special rules for carnivores that they're things they're not supposed to do, things like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's why the
cool.
back alley market exists.
Mhm.
That's why you have that's why there's like certain like protein rich vegetarian foods
Yep.
for carnivores to
Beans.
imitate meat.
Yep.
It's like that's what they're eating most of the time.
That, that scene between Bill and Legacy in
Mhm.
in 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 the play
Oh yeah,
was crazy with,
wonderful, wonderful.
yeah, yeah,
Imagine being Jack watching everything happening. Jack sitting down watching the play.
yeah,
He's watching them go at it, and it's like Lugosi, no, I told you no, dude. He's
yeah,
like,
yeah, don't do it.
I told you no. Why are you doing it?
But then it's the same thing where Lewis comes in and kind of, calms everything down. It's like, "Hey, you go over there. I know what you did. You took, like, rabbit blood drugs or something,
Mhm.
so you better go sit down."
Got
You
roided
know?
out of his mind.
Mhm.
It's like there's like this one scene that they did cut from the manga when they made into the anime. It's another scene where they show Lewis having his gun earlier, where Bill and him are in like the locker room or whatever,
Mhm.
and Bill's about to like attack him, and he pulls up the gun and puts it in Bill's mouth.
Okay. Yeah, because they have, like, a whole thing.
Mhm.
They're, like, rivalry or whatever.
Yeah, where Bill
Yeah.
kind of wants to be in charge.
Oh, yeah, he does,
Mhm.
definitely.
So Lewis puts the gun in Bill's mouth and like puts him in his place. Obviously, like at that point, you're like Lewis, how do you get a gun? And like guns are in this world. That's crazy. It's like
Yeah.
turns out they are. They're in this world, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, I think it's better in the anime not showing that, showing like nothing. At
Mm.
the very end, you see Lewis pull out his gun. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, yeah, you do.
like what is this? It's like, but yeah, Lewis is he will he has his own thing going on for season two. I guess because I'm assuming it's getting a second season. It's so
Oh, it
good.
better. It better get a 2nd season.
It's like Land of the Lustrous, dude. So good.
I can't believe Lana Lustrous doesn't have a 2nd season.
It should, dude. And like, who's the best girl again?
I don't know. I
It,
honestly don't remember too much.
the answer is Diamond every time.
Diamond? Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Diamond's great. She's just living life, she's trying to help everyone out.
The answer is Diamond every time. I'm sorry. A Land of Lustrous fan. Okay, Land of Lustrous is like a different thing. I'm not gonna talk about the manga because the manga is crazy. Like Land of Lustrous, like when you first start out, it's like, man, this is like this is chill. I'm like, what?
Definitely.
So this is also heading into spoilers for Land of Lustrous right now, real quick, because
Sure,
this is
yeah.
a side step into Studio Orange only because of the Beastars.
Yep.
The only reason why this is ever relevant. This would not be relevant if it was not Studio Orange doing both.
Stu
Uh,
Studio Orange, by the way, I determined that they do the best 3D animation out of anyone
they
ever.
are monsters at 3D. It's kind of ridiculous how good they
Yeah.
are.
Like, I was there was so many times where I was watching Beastars and I was just like, "This is so good," you know?
You don't feel like it looks ugly or like it looks like jarring at times. It just
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
good.
yeah, like, they somehow have it so smooth, like, it's not stuttery, it's not like, "Oh, well, we did it in 12 frames because"
Mhm.
like, nah, it looks great.
It's like and then like you can like Land of Lustrous I think shows off their power with animation more only because Beastars is like less there's less work needing to animate Beastars. Land of Lustrous has like the weird like symmetry and flowing and like liquid animations that go into it, where it just all has to be like so correct for it to be pulled off. But like I think that they 3D animation is something that they just know how to do and they know how to do it well.
Yeah, oh,
Something
definitely.
they're too good, too good.
Do you know what their next project is? Have they,
I
like, said
don't know.
anything?
I am definitely looking forward to it though. I will say that. Whatever they're
Mm.
doing, I'm on. Let me let's do a mal search as well. Oh,
Beastars and Land of the Lustrous, turns out same universe.
turns
It's
out that
not.
they're different pogs. They're not. They're not. It's not
Yeah.
that. It's not how it works. Um, but Land of Lustrous, I forgot how it already. How did it end for season one?
Oh, man. Um,
Like you have like Antarctite dying,
sure.
and you have her getting the gold to fill her body.
That wasn't the last episode, though. I think that was, like, 3rd to last, maybe?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna look up the anime for that as well, just to find out.
That was also, while you're looking that up, that was also really cool. The, like, whole gold thing and, like, her having these powers kind of, and that was dope. Little Luscious is another one that lots of twists and turns that I didn't expect.
Land of Lustrous is like one of the shows is like literally the meaning of the show is be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Where like Foss wishes to be like greater than what she is. You know what I mean? She's always
Oh,
looked
yeah.
down upon for like being like the weakest gem.
She
So
used
she
to be
wishes to be like stronger. She wishes to be like a fighter. And as it develops, like she's getting like what she wants, but it's just not turning out the way she expected it to.
Mhm.
And she's like the like again like the way the shows it as well. She's losing parts of herself. She loses her legs. She gets new legs made of the coral.
She does get new legs.
She loses like her like she has like her one true friend other than Cinnabar. And like she loses that, and then like she now has the gold. So like as time goes on, she's like losing like everything, and it's crazy how it develops from there. Okay, so like episode 12 is just her trying to decide whether she wants to investigate the sensei or not. Where like she
Oh,
learns the truth, where she's like sensei could be lying to us, or is he? And she's deciding whether or not to investigate, and it ends on that cliffhanger,
right. Oh, yeah,
which I thought
because
was a pretty good ending. It's like
yeah, because
open ended.
kind of the whole time we have that kind of, like, B plot of the sensei of, like, well,
How does he know everything?
yeah, how does he know everything? Who is he? Like, is he a gem?
And,
Because
like, then you have, like, the dog comes down, and he's like, "How is he friendly with this dog? I thought they were our enemies."
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's also, like, super crazy strong,
Mhm.
you
Like,
know?
he like, one flick of just a little piece of his body is enough to, like, take it down because he's, like has, like, his takes his body, turns it to shards, and he flicks
Mhm.
it, and it, like, destroys everything, so it's like, okay, how ridiculous is he really when he's fighting the Lunarians? Anyway, yeah, that's the last episode, and turns out their last work is Beastars. I don't know if they're planning anything, so now I gotta look up more stuff. Studio Orange. Next work.
Yeah, yeah, Beastars was last year, so I don't imagine them coming back, like, next season or anything like that, but I imagine probably well, with COVID, I can imagine it's
Mhm.
probably got a little slowed down, but, I mean, before that, Land of the Lustrous was 2017, so you imagine probably in late 2020 or late this year or next year, we'll
Mhm.
probably see more orange stuff, whatever it is?
They're gonna be at an online convention at Cloud Matsuri.
When is that? I wonder why they didn't do a 2nd season.
I mean,
It
they
had to be
probably could.
because
It just like depending. They could just want more source material, but there's enough right now.
No, I mean, it for Land of the Lustrous, it had to be because Amazon didn't think that the numbers were good enough.
Could
Because
be.
that was a Amazon Prime exclusive streaming show or whatever, and then they moved to Netflix with Beastars, which is probably the smarter choice. Because I imagine more people go to Netflix than Amazon Prime.
Oh, Cloud Matsuri is today, and the Beast Star panel is now.
Oh, nice.
That's actually dating the video so hard. It's
I
live on
bet
YouTube.
I think as a panel, they better announce season 2. 'Cause
Yeah, right now
Beastars
the
season
producer and director right now are just talking about it. They're live right now.
you're
That's
watching
kind
it
of
right
cool.
now?
Let me pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, nice.
They're pogging out. It was fun, dude. I both were great works for different reasons. They both have and somehow they work with 3D. Like, Beastars could have been, 2D animated.
Could've been, yeah,
Could Land of the Lustrous could have been 2D animated.
yeah.
I'll argue on both sides. I think that they look wonderful. And I think specifically with Land of the Lustrous, I would not have it any other way.
Oh, yeah, definitely, like,
Beastars, you could argue it's like, maybe. But like Land of the Lustrous, I would never say, "Oh, go to do 2D." No, this looks too good.
mhm.
They done too much to make it look this perfect.
Does, Lewis doesn't get named a B-star by the end of that, right? Or
No,
I mean, by the end of, the anime, or where,
mm,
the anime is, yeah.
no. The Beastar would be like the Beastar is like supposed to be like the exemplary, you know, person in society.
So, do you remember the character Juno?
Yes, Juno's
She
a very relevant
she had
character.
a huge flip for me, where at the beginning, I was like, "Oh, great, great character. We're
Mhm.
gonna somehow weave her into whatever's going on here." By the end, I was like, "She's a little shady." She's a little, like, using the things that come easy to her to kind of gain power,
Yeah,
because she
like
also wants to be a
she
B-star.
also wants to be Beastar. Yeah, Beastar's like a weird system where it's like a lot of people want to be the Beastar because they're like if they're the Beastar, they're like they're like respected in society.
Yeah.
It comes with a lot of power and privilege.
Mhm.
Where like they're looked upon as someone who like help people. People want to help them. A lot of power comes with that, and especially for a carnivore being a Beastar, you can just imagine it's like you're no longer in this position of like you don't have to be scared. You know that like you will always be like welcome for the most
Yeah.
part. It's like
One of the things I thought was lazy was the mayor. What animal is the mayor? A lion.
oh, mhm.
Of course he is.
A
Lion
lion
is
with
always
teeth, not like like the herbivore teeth.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He even talked about he had, like what did he spent, like, $4
He spent a bunch.
million.
He spent a bunch of money just rearranging his teeth to get herbivore teeth so he
Yeah,
can actually become the mayor.
yeah, so it looks just, like, friendlier or whatever.
Mhm.
So people would be like,
Some
"Oh,
people don't think he can't bite people.
yeah,
Legitimately, he
mm."
can, but I mean, like, it's not gonna like hurt them or anything like a lot. It's gonna rip into them. It's gonna be like, yeah, it's like, just like smile, yeah.
We also never found out who killed Ten or Tem, the sheep dude. We saw his silhouette, which every new carnivore character that got introduced, I was trying to, like,
Find out
uh
who it could be.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, it doesn't look like him, doesn't look." So, yeah, we still haven't figured that out yet.
That's gonna
Oh,
be an adventure for season 2.
an another shot at the end, and I don't remember if we saw who this character was or not, but we saw like, first person view of a student, I guess, or I mean, I guess it could be a teacher, but, um, they were in the school bathroom, right? And then they were looking into the trash can, and there was, like, pills, but, like, it was like a pill package, so it was like that, like, clear thing where, like, pop out the pills, you know what I'm talking about? And, there weren't any pills in there because I think the person just took them, I think that's what you're supposed to imply, and
Mhm.
then it's, like, kinda swaying, kinda foggy, and then he walks out of the bathroom, and then he meets up with Legacy, and Legacy is like, "Hey, man, come on, let's go," or whatever, and then Legacy walks, and the dude that we're in the perspective of doesn't move, and Legacy looks back and he's like, "Hey, you okay?" And that's all I remember. And I'm like, "Who was that guy? Like, what was he a character we already know? Like, why was it first person? Why did like, what was that?" You know?
Answer's pretty simple, it's first person because 'cause you're not supposed to know.
Well, yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
It's supposed to keep you guessing, you're like, "Who is this character? Why is this important? Why is he taking pills?" You know?
Yeah.
It's like, why was Legacy waiting for him? So obviously someone Legacy knows, someone he's close with, you know what I mean?
My immediate thought was it Bill? 'Cause, like, he obviously is known to take drugs, and he's obviously known to, he was the one in the black market with them that was
Mhm.
totally cool with eating that dude's finger,
Yeah,
and
he
then
was
Legacy
chill
was
with it,
like,
dude.
We're not doing that. We're not being a part of this."
Stop paying to eat that old guy's finger,
Yeah,
dude.
that's gross.
Also,
When
think about this, it's kinda weird, is like, yeah, they have human feet and arms, dude. They
oh,
got, like,
dude,
toes.
yes. Dude, I was the first time that I was kind of, like, hyper aware of that was when we saw,
Legacy
um,
Lewis backstory could be a good one.
uh, not his backstory, just, like, his character. I remember
Mhm,
it was, I think it was when he was breaking up the fight between Legacy and the other, like, 2, like, like, cat characters, I guess, in the lunch hall, the cafeteria or
mhm.
whatever, and Legacy was like, "Hey, don't fight," or whatever, and whatever, and then Lewis came out and was like, "Hey, everyone calm down," and he put his hand on Legacy's shoulder, and I was like, "What wait, why does he have a human hand?" And at that point, I was like, yeah, shouldn't he have, like a hoof or something? Like, it's weird he
Yeah,
has
I
a
can just
human
imagine
hand.
you going through and you're like, he has hands?
He has a
Hold
human
on."
hand, it's weird. Yeah, and then after that, I
Mm.
just, like, became aware of everyone, yeah, having, like, human hands and feet. I was like, this is weird. This is odd. It's an odd choice."
I forget if the birds have human hands or not.
Oh, man, yeah, I don't remember.
I think it's kinda funny. I'd assume they would, but, like, I don't
Yeah, I don't
remember.
know because
Or if, like, it's
they
just, like, their feathers just, like, become a hand. I don't
right,
remember,
right.
dude.
There is a bird character as part of the stage crew with
Mhm.
Legacy, but I don't remember seeing their hands. I don't remember if they have them or not.
And I'm pretty sure, like, they also have talons too, do they? Or do they just have feet?
Uh,
Oh,
see, I don't know because they're wearing shoes.
yeah. Oh,
It's weird, you
you'll
know?
never know, dude.
It's odd. Uh,
Beastars is
yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's great, dude. It's awesome.
They got human hands, dude.
So weird.
Some people want Lewis to touch them with his human hands.
I want Catcher to be like, "Ew, don't touch me." Gross.
You look like a human, ew.
Like a human. They don't have any concept of what a human is, right? Like, doesn't exist?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, I think this world is just like, yeah,
It's also a weird thing because, like, there's the whole carnivore versus herbivore thing and, like, oh, there are problems or whatever. But there's also, like, kind of racism with,
yeah,
like,
it's
"Oh,
a very
well"
subtle racism
yeah.
they're tossing
Well,
at you.
like, "You're a wolf, so you you'd probably do this," or like, "Oh, you're a,
Mhm.
whatever, you're a
Like how
anteater,
the
so"
rabbits got, like, on Haru.
yeah. I hated that. That was like, "Oh, I wish
Like,
all of them would just die."
I am the special rabbit, we are supposed to be together." And it's
Yeah.
like, he came to me though, so
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love that argument where yeah, where she's just like, "I mean, it wasn't me, it wasn't my choice, I didn't" you
so
know,
he came to me and I was like, "Sure, I mean, I don't know." Like, I didn't know you guys
why
had something
not?
going on. He didn't tell me that, and it's like, "Yikes." Sounds like your mans has other issues. Just
Yeah, yeah.
saying, dude.
She's just garbage the whole time, She's just, like, so entitled and so like, "Oh, look at me," but, like, she doesn't do anything for herself, you know?
Haru's a very interesting character to think about because, like, the only way she feels dominant is through her sexuality.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, like when we finally got her backstory of that as well,
mhm,
where, like, her entire life she felt, like, less than and,
mhm.
she was so fragile, for not only being a rabbit, but also being, like
A dwarf rabbit,
yeah, yeah,
the
dwarf rabbit.
smallest of rabbits.
Mhm, and, like, even throughout life, everyone would, like, always help her and, like, put on a fake smile because they
Mhm,
thought of her as a baby,
mhm,
and then
or
she
less
she
than
hated that.
someone
Yeah,
than herself, you know?
yeah, and she just like, how can I make it so people actually call me by my name and not like, "Oh, here,
Mhm,
kid," or whatever, so
yeah. It's very weird that, it almost drove her, but, it also, it's, bringed up in, when she's with the Lion Gang as well,
mhm,
where, she says she's ready to die because she literally has nothing else that she feels powerless, really,
yeah.
all the time, so she's okay with accepting death.
Yeah,
It's a really weird way to look about it.
she even talked to Legacy when they were in the train station, and then they were they were running away from the, security because Legacy and her got into, like, a fight, I guess, or whatever, and then, uh, she mentioned to Legacy about how she always feels one step away from death because that's just, was her all as a herbivore, but then also as just who she is, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, she's like a slight suicidal tendency that,
Yeah, a
she
little bit.
brings up, and then you really see it in the Lion Gang where she's like, "Oh, well, this is just it." It's
Yeah,
like she's just speaking truthfully,
which is
and
why it was so
that
powerful.
yeah.
Mm.
Season 2 is gonna be great if they ever come out with it. You're gonna love
Well,
it, trust.
dude, they better. And if they don't, I'll just read the manga.
It gets better, dude. It gets better and better.
Mhm,
I've caught up, I think, on Beastars. All caught up. It just gets better. It's just one of those things where it's like, man, I can read a chapter and be like, that's great. And I even like the chapters where they don't focus on like Ghosty and Haru or
mhm.
any of the main story. It's like let's jump to Bill real quick for this one chapter.
Oh, Bill.
How's Bill doing? And
That's another
the way the author does the work, it's like it just shows you a little bit more into the world of Beastars.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
another sense of the reality. It's like this is just another part of normal for them. Like what they're showing, what he's showing you, or like the author what she's showing you.
Mm.
And it's like, wow, that's crazy. Also, I think fun fact, I think the author of Beastars, her father's also a manga author as well.
Oh, that's cool.
And she tried to keep she tried to keep that hidden for like a long time. But obviously people were like, they're like, yo, uh yeah, Keisuke Itagaki's her father, and he's the guy who made Baki.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was she
And
hiding it
she
because she didn't want anyone to think that she's just getting, like, good or whatever because of her
yeah,
parent?
the relationship with him, and then as well
Yeah.
as she didn't want it to be like anything as well be like anything happening with that to hurt him as well. But
Oh,
once it
okay.
came out there, everyone's like, well, if she's doing independently fine, she's won awards for Beastars by herself. Like
Yeah.
this is all independently hers, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it has nothing to do. It's a different style of manga from what Baki is. Yeah, he's good at really doing what he's best at there. Really good action sequences and intense human anatomy. And she's broken that, where she's like,
Yeah,
well, this is more of a surreal world, great characters, different type of art style, but it all flows well, and it feels really well done. So,
yeah. It's great.
mhm,
It is when you were talking about, like, some chapters, they don't focus on the main characters. Yeah, I think that's just goes to show how good it is
mhm,
because they built a world that can exist outside of the main character, and
mhm.
still be interesting?
If you're interested, she also has her side manga
Mhm.
called Beast Complex, which is stuff that takes place in the world, but again, not related.
Okay. Yeah, 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 I'll check it out.
So yeah, it's only 6 chapters, but it's still in the world though, so it
Do you
feels
know
good.
do you know how many chapters Beastars is?
Beastars, let's see right now, it is 177.
100, damn, that's a lot.
But
That's
I'll tell
heavy.
you where you ended. So
Yeah, I found this, back when I was getting, into manga again, like, I don't know, a few months ago or something like that. I looked up to see if there was any websites, and there is. There's a website that if you enter in an anime, it'll tell you where the anime ends in the manga.
okay,
So,
let's Google
you know what I
that
mean?
real quick. Beastars anime manga ending.
Yeah, and it tells you exactly what
Anime
chapter it
to
is, and then it'll even
manga.
tell you, like, "Oh, maybe you should read this one just to get in," and I was like, "Cool," 'cause there's a ton of anime that I've seen that Haven't gotten a second season yet, and most of them probably won't, just because that's how anime is, you know?
It's like chapter 47, chapter 48 apparently is where they thought it would be.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that. Let me see if I can go to the actual manga and confirm.
Mm.
So,
But then sometimes I imagine it's a little difficult to kind of, time that because, you know,
mhm.
sometimes it's the, like, anime is, like, a little different than the manga, so it's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
well, it should end here, but this didn't really happen in the anime," so, you know?
To be fair, I will say, at least with me with predicting, I'm usually correct on where things end. At least
Yeah.
with manga at this point.
Mm.
I've usually gotten always on point where I'm like, it's always gonna end on this arc specifically. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? 'Cause like, this is just a good ending spot for it. I've gotten pretty good at timing. Even with Tower of God, I said this is legit only gonna be season one of the webtoon, nothing more, nothing less. What is this, dude? Did Juno appear in the ending at all or no?
In the ending? Yeah, I mean, okay, so as part of the epilogue, there was, like, music playing, and there was, like, a little, like, montage of some characters, and, I mean, all of that we saw of Juno was her at the festival, and her, like, kinda sad, but then her maybe getting over it and then getting kinda happy again, and she was, like, staring at the lantern or whatever, but, I mean, like, we didn't really get her really. I mean, and then before that, all we saw was her, uh, trying to rope Legacy into some, like, award or something, and then her being like, "Oh, we should go light a candle in the thing because remember, if 2 people light a candle and put it in the whatever, then they'll be together forever," and Legacy obviously very much was trying to get out of that, and then I think they actually did it, but then later he ran away to go save Haru. So that's I think is, like, the last real scene we see with Juno. Also, uh, Legacy's dog friend is a good friend to have.
Jack is one of the better characters, dude.
He's great. He was super concerned when Legacy left and he went back into his room, and his little beetle friend, it was, like, in the terrarium, and
Mhm.
his little beetle was, like, on his back, and Jack was like, "No, he's dead." 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
Legacy cares about him so much. He, like, takes
Mhm.
care of him every day.
Legacy loves bugs, dude.
He does, yeah,
He
same.
loves them. It's a very nice character trait where like you see him like, catching bugs and like he's always like like some flashbacks seeing like with bugs all the time.
Mm.
Kind of like nice nods, you know what I mean? Looked it
Okay,
up.
so
Chapter 48 is the ending for the anime, so if you want to start 49 for
okay,
the manga.
um,
So that's
so
only
it's
like
okay.
120 chapters.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
you did Fire Punch real quick, so I mean like if
I
you
did.
wanted to, Beastars is like right there if you wanted to. And you
There's
already on Act Age right now. Act Age is like around that length, like 100 something as well.
yeah, yeah.
So you'll be
There's
fine.
something I want to see if it was in the manga as well, because there was a moment when Legacy was fighting the Lion King, right?
Mhm,
And this was right as he just told Haru, "Hey, you should close your eyes, I don't want you to see the side of me." That's, like, before he went all crazy.
mhm,
He, like, did, like, a pose, right? As he as he was powering up, that's basically what he did,
mhm.
and there was, like, a little ghost beetle on his hand that appeared that I assume was his little beetle friend, and the beetle was there, and then it flew away, and then that's when he, like, raged out and, like
They
so, like,
have a lot of bug symbolism with.
I don't that's the only time I've ever seen anything like that, and I was like,
Well, I
"That's
mean,
weird."
like that's I think that's like the first instance they show starts doing bug symbolism with
Okay,
like Legosi,
okay,
and they like do more and more as the series goes on.
'cause, like, I
And
was
it's
like,
very beautiful.
Is that your, like, spirit
Oddly enough,
animal?" You know? Because
oddly
'Cause you're
enough, like
already
it's yeah, he's it's not it's like Legosi loves bugs, dude. It's really weird, and he will respect them because like in a weird sense, it's like his most like think about it like being a carnivore, right? And then like you have like you be a carnivore or herbivore, right? And then you have other animals in this world, that aren't recognized. There aren't bug people in this world. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So he looks at the bug and he's like, "Well, you're like kind of like us, aren't you?"
You're like living creatures, but you're not like, you don't appear to be sentient.
Yeah. So like he has like a soft spot for that. He's like, well, you're kind of like me. You're kind of doing your own thing.
Mhm.
It hits a little spot on Lugosi real quick.
It's a great show. It's great. It's awesome.
Beautiful. What do you think about out of 10?
Out of 10,
Yeah,
um,
that thing's arguing right now for it. That's arguing for a 10, dude.
yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's at least a 9.
You
It
can't put it below that 9. It's
it
something about it.
it very much might be a 10.
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. 9.5.
It, it's 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 got a little something for everyone. Mhm.
I I ranked it on Mal when I finished it because I do that whenever I finish an anime.
I
I don't
don't.
I don't remember what I
I'm kidding. Did I? Let me check my mal now because now I'm actually curious. I'm curious because I don't know if I actually rated Evangelion on mal.
I gave it a 9.
That's what it is now, so it's a 9. Well, sign in with Google, please. Thank you, Mel.
So, I don't know how credible this is, but on Mal, there is a slot open, like, an actual page for Beastars 2nd season.
They're just hoping, dude.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I can finally put completed on mal. And I think base Evangelion and
2. 2 out of
I
10.
think base Evangelion's a 9.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna go with end of Evangelion as also being a 9. Because I like these type of shows.
Yeah.
With that I like that type of ending. We already discussed it obviously earlier in this episode. But these type of endings I'm okay with. I love them a lot. Where it ends and it's like it makes you think about the ending, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're like, well, like it was a weird ending and it didn't have to end this way. It could have had like a concrete ending for something, but it works, and you're not really upset with why it works. I like those. I have a soft spot for them in my heart.
Soft spot.
A little soft spot. It's kind of weird. It could be like something wrong.
I was gonna say, you have a soft spot in your heart.
Some,
Should get that checked out.
but personally, out of all the ones that we discussed, they very much B stars and Act Age. I think B stars right now is like pogging to like an oblivion, and then where I last left off in Act Age, because I'm pretty behind right now. I'm like chapter like 90 or whatever, so I'm like 20 chapters behind, 20 30 chapters behind on what's like current. Can't speak for Act Age right now on what's current, but I can speak for what I read. And they're both pretty amazing
Yeah,
in
they're
their own rights. Modern manga, I have no complaints in modern manga for the most part, except for like isekai tropes and just bait grab isekai tropes really, and like power fantasy stuff. But then I say power fantasy stuff and I read solo leveling, so who am I to really say stuff? Because One Punch is also like a power fantasy show as well, except to the extreme.
yeah, it's like super aware of it though. It's like
It,
super
it,
aware
it,
of
it
how
it is super weird. That's what makes it okay. It's like, yeah, man, he's gonna win every fight, but like the interesting characters that's also in it and the way it's presented
yeah.
keeps you wanting a little more because you want to see more of everyone else. I guess you already know what he's gonna do. He's gonna mess up everyone.
Mhm.
So he's gonna see them, they're done. But like everyone else, though, now that's where it's interesting.
That's a cool strategy that a lot of, like, media takes, where they make the main character, like, not super interesting, just kinda flat, but then they
Mhm.
surround him or her with really cool and interesting and dynamic characters as, like, he or she is almost like the like, glue that, like, sticks together all these other
That's a
more
Konosuba
interesting
thing.
stories.
I think Konosuba a little bit like that.
What is?
Konosuba's a little bit like that. He's like
Yeah,
Kazuma's like a bit earthly. Reality. Hits you with
mm,
it. Like this is what like I guess a standard person would do, like a normal weeb
yeah,
sense. It's like who knows like their RPG stuff. He has all these things in mind, and he looks around him. He's like, "This is what I got to work with. This is not good,"
yeah, trash.
and yet he wins every time.
He does, yeah.
It's like you work for the Demon King, dead. You work for the Demon King, you're on my side now. Come and join, dude.
Dude, so you're just so You were just talking about Konosuba. The first thing I thought of was him having Megumin blow up that dude's castle, like, every day.
And he's judging the explosions, and
Yeah,
by the end of it, he becomes an explosive connoisseur where he's like, "Today there was a, good explosion, size not too bad." He's like,
yeah,
"Problem was I didn't feel the wind that much today, so it gets like a 7."
mhm.
And it's like, the impact wasn't as forceful as I wanted it to be.
I just love like, closure to that little side plot or whatever
It's
when
like,
the
"Oh, it's
dude
actually the Dulan."
yeah, when the dude in the castle actually comes, is like, "Hey, who's been blowing up my castle every day?"
It's actually just like the big bad for the season.
Mhm.
Pretty good
Was that
introduced,
season
by
1
the way.
or was that season 2?
Season 1, dude.
Season 1? What was season 2?
Season 2, I'm pretty sure there was like a machine they had to fight.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember that show very well.
I remember partially very well. I noted like the entire joke, I guess, for like the entirety of Konosuba is that like I guess that he's gonna fight the Demon King and win, like somehow ridiculously,
Mhm.
because he just happens to do it on sheer luck. It's like, oh yeah, the dual hand, happened to be living in the castle. We blew up the castle enough times he came down and we beat him. Great job. It's like this Wiz, on our side now. Come over here. It's like
Yeah.
the other guy with like the mask. You're joining us too. And he's like, he's like the slime. He's like, we killed the slime. We've iced him. Slime's no more. Like, how much more of the Demon King followers is he actually gonna take out by sheer luck?
You think that's gonna get another season?
The movie came out, dude.
It did, yeah.
If anything, they're
Movie,
probably just waiting for COVID to be done
a lot of the
to announce.
times, a movie is like the death sentence.
Remember when No Game No Life got that movie?
It did, yeah. Not only did it get a movie, but it was a prequel movie, so it didn't actually advance the
With
plot in any
different
way.
characters
Yeah.
in the same world, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And the thing is, it's like it's basically the characters except you switch the color of their hair now.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
guy now has
there's a
white hair
couple
and the
of those.
girl has black hair.
Mm. How long ago did that movie come out?
A while ago, dude.
Was it 2016, I
I
think?
want to watch Weathering with You because that
Yeah,
came out.
yeah, me too.
That's the new Shinkai movie, and I'm like, your name was pretty good, dude. I gotta like hop on this train. My brother's like, you gotta watch 20 whatever centimeters
Was that a movie or a show?
or 20 centimeters per second or whatever, 15 centimeters, 10 centimeters per second. Yeah, a movie
Movie.
made by the same guy. That's like really depressing, apparently.
Yeah, I heard, good stuff about the Weathering one.
Hmm. What was it? What movie? I saw How to Eat Your Pancreas a while ago.
Oh, yeah, how was that?
If you want to watch something depressing, dude, I'd highly suggest watching that. It's another one of those like really quick, like like depressing movies
Mhm.
where it's like this nice romance, and you know that someone's gonna die, dude. You're like, man, you're like this girl. She has all the death flags on her, dude. And you're just watching it, and you're like, and then when it actually happens, you're like, I didn't expect it to be this way.
Mm,
Why is it got to be this way? I can't spoil anything for this movie because it actually took me off my feet. It broke the standard tropes of what makes the standard romance death movie. Like Your Name also did their own spin on it. It's like turns out she was dead from the beginning.
yeah. Yeah, that is what happened.
That Your Name spin was like she was never alive in your time, my boy. She was dead. It's like, you mean I've been talking with a ghost, dude? That's not really a ghost, but like talking back through time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Do you remember that scene when she was running, and then she fell, and then there was something written on her hand? Do you remember what was written on her hand?
I love you.
Yeah,
I think we referred that to like the two L's, dude.
yeah.
We referred it because like the first L was that she fell, dude,
Mhm.
and the second L was like at least I got his name. Looks at the hand, it says I love you. She's like, damn it, that's not his
Right,
name.
right, yeah. That that was the whole thing where that was her last chance of finding him was to actually know his name, and it wasn't his name. Yeah.
And then like as well, we'll also put on top of this as well, where like where she tried to write his name on her name on his hand, and as soon as she went to do it, the pen dropped, dude, and I was like, it was like yikes, dude. It was like
Yeah,
they'll never meet up.
yeah, feels bad.
They'll never know who they are again, dude. It's great, wonderful. Your name was beautifully done.
Wasn't who was who was in the newer timeline?
The guy.
The guy was?
Mhm.
Yeah, cause like, he was it him who went to, like, the weird, like, cave shrine?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's how he was
He
able
drank
to
her spit juice.
oh, yeah, that was gross.
It's weird to say like that, but it's like when you think about it though, they actually make that for like, like religion and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
it has like a ceremonial purpose.
mhm,
And that she's disgusted because she's like, "That's my spit." He's like, "I didn't want to drink it because it was your spit, though. I drank it because I wanted to see you." And it's like, "It's my
yeah.
spit."
It's cause I wanted to travel through time.
It's like, "I wanted to see you again, but you drank my spit." Ugh.
I like the idea she'll never get over that. It'll just always be in the back of her mind.
It's like, this man drank my spit, dude. What a simp. He paid for spit, dude. He paid like all this way. He came, like, he paid for like the tickets to bus everyone just to drink some spit. I'm just saying, squirrels in my pants.
Good one.
S to the I to the M to the P. Ugh.
Did you, so just a complete turn, right?
Okay.
Did you see that the Sony announced their PS5 event?
I did not. I saw it was on this list of things,
Yeah.
so I'm ready to hear about it.
It's for the 4th, which I think is Thursday.
That sounds like Thursday.
Okay.
It is
And,
Thursday.
yeah, it's their event. We're finally gonna see but apparently, after doing more research, they probably won't talk about the console at all. I guess they're just gonna talk about the games that are gonna be on it that we haven't seen yet.
That could be better, honestly.
Yeah. I'd like to know what the box looks like. You know what I mean?
At least show me the box, dude. Show me the logo. You show me the controller, dude. To be fair though, like, do we care what the console looks like? The console could be ugly.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that yesterday where I was like, "It doesn't really matter." It'd be nice to see it, just to see it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't
The
I mean,
console could be ugly as long as the games are good. I mean, people are gonna be buying it anyway.
yeah. It's apparently gonna be over an hour long, so they're gonna show a lot of stuff.
And we still haven't seen Metroid stuff.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
And Bayonetta 3 was announced, but we still haven't seen Bayonetta 3 stuff. I'm just like putting that reminder out there for like anyone who's remembered that Bayonetta 3 exists.
Metroid is unfortunate though because they were working on that for a while and then they had to restart
Mhm.
because, uh, the other team came in and was like, "Hey, we're gonna do it instead."
Yeah,
But then there are conspiracy theories that, that studio so the studio that came in and is now working on Metroid, they worked on the original Metroid Primes, right? So that's why I was like,
okay.
"Oh, man, they're coming on, whatever." They also worked on the newest Donkey Kong games. So, there's a conspiracy that, well, they're working on Metroid Prime 4 now. What have they been working on in the past, what is it, like 3 years? And so the whole theory is that they were working on a new Donkey Kong game, and that it was a sequel to Donkey Kong 64,
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
which would be crazy, you know?
All I know is that like from what I know about the games that Nintendo's released, okay, that Monolith Soft, the developers of Xenoblade,
Mhm.
have had their tiny little hands in like a decent amount of projects for the Switch. They aided in Splatoon. They helped out in Smash, obviously. They helped out with Animal Crossing. So they got like their tiny hands, They're like helping out in these like tiny projects. They helped out with Breath of the Wild. It's like what like they got like a bunch of like free time. I'm guessing. Well, I say free time in quotation marks because it's like they're obviously working on other projects. Like they just released
Yeah.
Definitive Edition, so they're probably working on something else right now in their JRPG to like let people know. Maybe they're porting X. People are saying. I don't know if I want X to be ported.
Was that the game you were excited for? Was, Xenoblade: The Definitive Edition?
I'm hyped, yeah, because I haven't played it. I waited, I think, 10 years to play this game.
Have you played any other Xenoblade games?
I played 2.
How was it?
And imagine playing 2 and realizing, man, this is just the lead back to Xenoblade 1.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
playing
you'd
the
assume
sequel.
because it says 2, but like, the, I remember hearing very much this is verbatim what they said. They said, "Will Xenoblade 2 in any way be connected to Xenoblade 1?" They said, "No. This game has no connection to Xenoblade 1 at all." Imagine playing like 20, 30 hours in the game, and then it's like your man pulls out the Monado, and it's like this game's connected to Xenoblade 1.
Yeah, that's rough.
I was like, yikes, dude. I was like, man, I'm like, this game's going good. I'm like, this is a nice independent project they did. Very different from original Xenoblade. Different characters, very unique. They went their own way about it. Then he pulls a Monado, and I'm like, they've thrown me for the biggest loop of all time. You can't tell me this game's not related to Xenoblade 1, and then have the character pull out a Monado, and then you explain all this deep lore stuff. And then they confirmed it with the latest definitive edition trailer. Well, not the latest one of the trailers, where like they have another character appears, and like if you have no idea about Xenoblade Chronicles, then you're like, well, this looks normal. But people who played OG Xenoblade Chronicles knows exactly what's up with the character. They're like, they changed something in the appearance for the character. Like originally the character was wearing a key, and now he has a different necklace on.
Mm.
And everyone's like, I know exactly why he has that necklace. It's because it's related back. They're trying to draw it back to Xenoblade 2, because this is what this character was supposed to be for. And it's like, yeah, it's rough, dude.
I mean, isn't that kinda similar to what Final Fantasy VII did? Where it was like,
It's
"Hey,
very much similar.
it's a remake, but, like, here's all this other little stuff that if you play the original, you'll know, 'Wait, that's different. Why is that like that? Oh, there's this character.'" You know what I mean?
Like Final Fantasy VII was like, we take this game, okay? This segment is like supposed to be a couple hours long, okay? We'll take this and make it into like a 60-hour long game.
Yeah, that is literally what they did.
It's like we'll take the segment, stretch it a bunch, add stuff in here, add a bunch of side quest stuff, flesh out like Jesse's supposed to be dead, dude. Sorry to break it to anyone. He's supposed to die. And now Cloud's like, when's my pizza gonna be free? So where's my free pizza, Jesse? You promised me a pizza.
Yeah, because it says here that the main, uh to beat Final Fantasy VII, the original, is under 40 hours. Obviously, I mean, some people take longer and then people, do a bunch of side missions and stuff like that, but
If it was me, I think I'd probably do like 55 maybe because I'm going through side questing or whatever.
and
Feel
just, like,
that. Take my time.
that's the crazy thing is that now with this remake, the first, part 1 Final Fantasy VII remake
Like this like
is
we'll say like 5 to 7 hours. We'll say for that first part.
yeah,
Mhm,
they made into a 40-hour game or whatever the remake is. I know it's
mhm.
somewhere around there, but it's
40 to
like
60.
yeah, so, like, part 1 of this remake is as long as the original game, so that just goes to show how much stuff they added, you know? And with the combat being different, you would assume that fights should take less time because 'cause they're not turn-based anymore?
No, no. It turns out turn-based combat is super quick, dude.
Oh,
Turn-based
it's quicker?
combat's nothing to scoff at. My complaint is that real-time combat, you have to wait for actions on both sides, and it always has like we have to wait for skills to load back up and everything.
Sure, yeah.
So like turn-based combat, you always have a certain set things, and you always know it's going to be a set time. 'Cause, like your action should only take a couple seconds.
Final Fantasy VII is weird where, it's not really turn-based though, because like, you can attack as soon as you're able to attack. You don't actually attack after the enemy.
Yeah, so that's very again similar to like Chrono Trigger
Yeah.
and games like that, where it's like a real-time turn-based strat.
Yeah, it's
Or like
weird.
you have like a loading bar, essentially. Think of it like you have a loading after your
Yeah.
action, and when your loading fills, you can do an action again.
Mhm.
But it acts in real time though. It's like older Final Fantasy games have this, as well as Chrono Trigger are good examples to bring about, where you'd want to wait for certain phases of boss fights when you hit a certain point, where you know like okay, this is going to happen around this time, and then you're preparing for that. Just a weird tandem way, but it does happen. But like that real time stuff, you can still like it's still possible to get in RPGs. I think it's just like most RPGs I think now have a setting for it
Yeah,
where it's like it gets like the turn-based ones where it's like real time, where they just act automatically without you doing stuff.
I don't like that. I played Xenoblade for
3DS.
3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what that was called? That had, like, a special name?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
Okay, cool. I didn't like it. Played the first few hours and I just didn't like the combat. I thought the game looked ugly too, but that was probably just because the
First of all, let me
3D.
hit with this 3DS, the ugliest version of the game.
Yeah,
The
didn't like it.
controls, you're limiting yourself to that 3DS controller.
Mm.
It's not gonna do you justice. Combat's a little funky, not gonna lie.
But,
Both
like,
Xenoblade games, funky combat. Combat system's funky.
I didn't like it because I don't know if that was kinda what you were just explaining, but it was like it just attacked by itself as
Mhm.
you got close to an enemy, and I'm just swinging the sword, but I'm not actually pressing anything to swing the sword, and then every so often, if I wanted to, I can press a button to do, like, a super move. But, like, 90% of the fight is fighting by itself.
So like what you're explaining, okay? The skills in Xenoblade are actually the key. No joke. It's the
Yeah,
key to winning. Timing the skills perfectly or extending your skills upon certain stuff is the key to intuitive combat. Um, it's funky. I'm not gonna lie, because it's literally like saying, "Hey, I gotta do these certain actions." Later, like I'll say, like playing as Shulk early on sucks. Shulk has like a very limited set of moves.
yeah,
I think if you play as Ryan early on, like you switch over to Ryan, Ryan gets his because like he doesn't have the Monado, so he doesn't get
mhm,
like the more Monado arts to work with. Instead, his pool of moves fills up really quickly. So he has like a bunch of different moves you can do, and they're all different. But he's also like a tank character, so he doesn't do as much damage. But it's more easy to pilot him as well. He's more generous to play because he doesn't die as easy. You can like pull stuff onto you. Really weird. The game is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 similar, where like each character has their own different playstyle with different setups and whatever, customizable to how you want to make it.
one thing I wanted to ask you was, uh, Riot Games, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
Riot?
that's what they're called. Yeah, that's what they're called.
Um, they recently announced, like, a couple years ago or whatever, that they're making all these games.
Hmm.
They're finally not just doing, uh, whatever it was.
Yeah,
It
they
was
announced
like
it last year, whatever, during their year of
yeah,
Riot, like their 10th year anniversary or whatever.
yeah,
They were like
and
pog about their mind.
the one they're doing now is Valorant, right? They're the ones doing Valorant?
Yeah, so like they released their card game Legends of Runeterra. They
Yep,
released Valorant, their shooter, which is comparable to CS:GO slash Overwatch.
yep.
Hmm.
They have a bunch of other ones too. They have, like I I know one of them is, like, first person story, driven game,
Yeah,
which
those
which
are going
is
to be coming out. Those are set
yeah,
in the League universe as well. So they're trying to expand League
yeah,
universe. They're having like a League animated movie or League animated show coming out as well.
mm.
That's in the works.
Yeah, I
They've
just
already got like have you seen the music videos? They somehow have like high quality music videos
yeah,
with like actual like artists for no
mm.
reason. So like and then they got like a spot. They like somehow partnered with like I gotta look up, dude.
But yeah, I just wanted to ask you 'cause, I wanna ask you if you were excited at all for Riot doing all this other stuff, you know what I mean? 'Cause I think it's cool after them doing League of Legends for so long and that not really being my type of game, them
They
doing a
partnered
bunch
with
of other
Louis
stuff.
Vuitton.
Yeah, what?
They partnered with Louis Vuitton.
Oh, okay.
That was a while ago though.
But then them doing all these other types of games, obviously, having the money and the resources for it,
So
I just think it's really cool.
it's a good thing in a way, but it's also like this is like a reason why they're like such a big company. So like think about like if they originally they were only focused on League of Legends. So like originally like you could blame a lot of Riot being like, well like this game's garbage. You have all this crew working on this game. Balance changes. People hate the balance changes. Sometimes you're like, why are they making random balance changes for no reason? Like this character didn't have to be changed. This was perfectly fine. No one was actually complaining about this. And then they're like weird balance change. Why do you nerf damage on this thing by 10? It's like just flat 10. This
Yeah.
changes nothing. Nothing about this will change the character. Maybe in like the 1% of matches, this will actually have an outcome. but like
Right.
90% of the time, this has nothing to do with anything. So there's like
The
weird balance. Then there's like the absurd balance changer where it's like we flip 90% of the character's entire attention to this set, and then we like move to this part, reworking things. Now it's like, well, they're balancing all this other stuff now. So like they got like their league team, you got like their Legends of Runeterra team, they got their team fight tactics team for like the people who played Dota Auto Chess when that came out. They got their League of Legends one. Legends of Runeterra is for those Hearthstone Magic players who like their card games. They have their own system with that. Uh, they got their now they got Valorant for like their shooters. They got board. They have their own board game as well that people can buy. It's like, and then I think they're releasing their mobile game, Wild Rift, for people who want to play League on their phone, except with a more compact environment. Somehow, though, I will say all their games induce salt.
yeah, I mean, I think that that is probably a big part of them just being competitive games.
Like a multiplayer competitive game just always will have this aspect.
Yeah. I mean, especially big ones, right? Because there's so many people
Mhm.
playing them, and yeah, when you make little changes, of course, there's gonna be at least some people that are upset with them.
I will say, like from what I'm seeing right now, the card games seems to be going fine. Nothing's really bad with that right now that I can really complain about. Um, the balance changes that I've seen them do, it's like they're making reasonable changes to cards. It's not anything bad. I've seen Hearthstone, so I can tell you what they've done in those games to kind of compare. And same Magic with like limiting and banning cards. I can have an idea and then changing cards to errata in later editions.
Mm.
So I have a feel for what can be like good balance changes in the game.
Do you think that some of those like smaller balance changes, the ones that maybe don't make any sort of difference, do you think that that could just be because of boredom? That people are just like,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's
let's just
boredom.
change stuff. Just
Sometimes it's boredom. I feel like sometimes it's like the patch, like making the notes look a little bigger.
oh, okay, yeah, I can
Sometimes I
see
feel like
that.
they spin a wheel and it lands on the champion. They just change a little bit thing there. Then there's like the subtle stuff where like I played League for like a good amount of time where like they like subtly change things over time. Where like we'll say like maybe like 10 patches ago, they're like, oh, this champion gets a little tiny like thing here. Then like another 2 or 3 patches, they're like, oh, this champion gets like a little thing here that like goes unnoticed, right? And all of a sudden they change like one thing on the champion that's like kind of somewhat major. They're like, okay, well this thing now we're gonna make this subtle change now. We're like, and like these are all like minor buffs they're doing to the character, like over like the course of like months. Okay, it's like you're going through and like this character's like being unnoticed for like a while, right? And then all of a sudden they do like this one change and it flips, and the character goes from like a 40 like 8% win rate to like having like a 54, and you're like, what in the world happened? And then you go back and you read the patches, and you're like, all these minor changes were like decent enough to like push it a little forward, and then when the major change happened, because those minor changes were already good enough, the major change just pushes it even further than what they
Right.
actually thought it would be. It's
Yeah.
delicate balance,
It's all
and they
very sneaky.
and Riot knows there's certain characters they can't touch on purpose. Or if they do touch, they have to touch very littly. They can't finick with it too much. And when they do finick, they have to do like reworks or whatever to try to fix them. If there's
Mm.
anything wrong, they know what they're doing for certain things. So people, they're like, there's like too much. When you have like 100 plus people to think about in a game, there's only so much you can change and try to
Yeah.
keep somewhat fair. And you're gonna forget so many things along the way. Like I'll look at old Mordekaiser for an example. My man, old Mordekaiser, pre rework, was one of the most bugged characters in the game. I think he had hundreds and hundreds of bugs placed on his character that
Oh.
literally like there was pages dedicated to all the bugs he had, and you can't fix them, so they just rework them. Imagine you rework him because it's just one, his kit was okay, but it's like it's an easy way to get rid of all these bugs. These bugs are just interactions he has, and it's like no, just get rid of them all. Hundreds and hundreds of bugs, and like there's people who out there who would play the game as this character and know how to utilize some of these bugs, like for their own benefit, and
Mm.
like they just can't easily patch it. You know what I mean? But like that's a very small. But you're talking like 0.1, 0.01% of the community at that point who'd be able to replicate that, and use
Mm.
it to their advantage. I'm talking like a handful of people, like 10 people tops, who'd be able to like, easily manipulate this to their advantage. Not that many people, because League's a big
Right.
game, but most people are garbage, including myself. Most people in League, they are at the silver tier, and they added iron.
I feel
That's
like
where
that's
the
most
worst.
games though.
It's like Overwatch. I think the average is like High gold, high gold, low plat. That may be changing now. I don't know what the player base was, but last time I checked Overwatch, it's high gold, low plat was the average,
Mhm.
which is really weird to say.
You'd figure it would have to be in the middle though, because when someone wins, someone loses,
Yeah,
you know?
it's like the hardest games at any game that has like a tier rating is like always at like that high echelon where it's like tier one of like a tier, and then the bottom tier as well. So you get
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the tier one and tier four. That's always like the rough area for anything because like they're matching against each other, and these are people who want to climb up and people who don't want to lose to go
yeah,
back
yeah,
down. So this is like the most ferocious area you could possibly get into. Whenever you hit that tier one and then the lower tier games, they're either fighting to go up or they're fighting to stay in. Those games are like the most rough ones because if anything goes wrong in those games, you know it's about to go off
yeah.
on any team.
Huge
It's like
change.
I stopped playing League for a while. I haven't touched a game in like months, and I feel happy. Not because I feel bad when I play the game, but because I feel like I play when I only have friends on, and that's
Mm,
the answer. So if I'm not playing when I'm on, and then that's fine.
yeah,
If someone hits me up and says, "Yo, I'll be on," I'll be like, maybe I'll think about it. But like, I haven't played in like so long. It's like I feel like better that way.
yeah, yeah, sometimes it is. Uh, so Ray, I won't be able to talk about it too much because I don't think you've seen it, but
No, I've not seen Space Force.
yeah, I watched the first episode 'cause that's all I had time for. These episodes aren't as long as I thought they were gonna be, which is good. I thought they were gonna do, like, hour-long episodes.
There's
Uh,
half an hours.
yeah, it's, like, 30 something minutes,
Okay,
so it's not that bad. I just wanna say it's pretty good. It obviously, it's not as, like, witty as The Office is, you know, because The Office is, like, every other line is, like, setting up
a
or a
joke.
punchline.
It's like
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it's like
Uh,
already like getting it ready, like
yeah, yeah.
brewing it.
This is a lot more story driven with, you know, there's a lot of comedy in it, you know, especially, like, situational comedy, that sort of thing. Uh, we start to see some of the cast, you know? There's, like, Ben Schwartz is there, which I forgot, and he's super funny. There's,
He's great. Enjoyed it.
Malkovich, John Malkovich, I think that's his name. He's also in it, he's great, you know, so far, and, yeah, I just want it's great. It's good so far, I'd say.
Excuse me while I'm googling John Malkovich.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, it's just, you know, Steve Carell plays Mark, and, he's now in charge of the new branch, Space Force, and, he doesn't wanna do it because you know, space, very, very hard thing, very unsure thing, and, you know, but he has to prove everyone, you know, I can build this branch, I can build this little space base, and I think they said they have to get on the moon by, like, 2024. That's their goal, and, yeah, lots of people. He's surrounded by some idiots and some not idiots, and he's also I don't wanna say racist, but, like, doesn't trust this Russian guy that works for him because he thinks that he might be a Russian spy,
He's
and
like,
then
this guy could be a
there's
spy.
also, you know, he has a bunch of scientists, you know, obviously you need scientists to, you know, build a rocket,
Of course.
and one of them is Asian, and he doesn't quite trust him, he thinks that he might be a Chinese spy.
I feel like that could be his character now. Just
Yeah,
like
it's a little, you know,
they could be spies, dude.
it could be, you know? That
Everyone's a
Russian guy,
spy.
to Mark's credit, that Russian guy, probably a spy. He's just, like, super shady, you know, he's just, like yeah, he's shady, you know, he making some moves, you know?
I would love if he would be like a Canadian spy.
That'd be fantastic.
It's
He's like,
like
he's right there."
he's a spy for Canada. Who would have thought?
Who would've thought, yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
we always guessed he was a spy, but for Canada, we thought he was with the Russians.
Yeah, it turns out you can be from anywhere, you know?
I feel
Yeah,
like
right,
that's a joke that's very easy to write in.
yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
You should definitely watch that though.
Okay, I'll have it on my list.
I think it's only 10 episodes. And I think
Did
season
all
2
10 come
already
out,
got
or are they just releasing them weekly?
it's all out.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think they already announced the season 2,
nice.
which
That
which
means
I
it
guess
must done well. So
what?
must done well enough to just go
Yeah.
immediately and release them. Yeah.
I mean, I think it also makes sense just 'cause, there's so many, like, big name actors in there that
Hmm.
I think that they would Netflix would try their hardest to
Keep it
yeah, because it's
running.
so many big
Yeah.
names, you know? Yeah, it's great. So, Ray, did you watch, I don't know which one you wanna do first. You wanna do Tower of God first or Sing Yesterday
I think
first?
last time we do first, we did sing yesterday. So let's do Tower of God first this day.
Okay. Newest episode, I forget the name of it. I don't think it matters, but
Episode
new
9.
yeah, episode 9. Uh, it was, the kind of continuation of last one with the arena tag, you know?
Yeah,
These
the ranker tag part dose.
yep. Uh, we okay, I just remembered everything. So, the crazy part was, uh, Ho being like, "Hey, I'm gonna capture Rachel because, with Rachel, I'll get Bam." And I was like, "Man, that's a good plan, honestly, because you're right."
Mhm,
And then, she accidentally stabbed Rachel, I think, and then just the commotion, just the, "Whoa, hey," because like, Rachel made a move to get away from her, which is really
mhm.
stupid. Um, and then, she, I guess, realized that she failed whatever her mission was, and then she killed herself or stabbed herself. To me, it's implied that she's dead, but then at the end of the episode, they're taking her and Rachel off to the hospital, so maybe she's not dead.
I
Um,
mean, I'm gonna hit you with this one. She's dead, dude.
yeah, she like I say, she's probably dead.
Like the other girl just took like move the eyelids down. That's a confirmed death right there.
You know what? She did do that. I remember that.
That's confirmed dead right there. If I have to say so myself,
That is a confirmed kill.
that is.
Um,
But what's your KD ratio? 1-1.
one and they're both the same person.
1-1, dude.
Um, what else? We saw more of Endorsee's plan, I guess. I mean, I don't
She
think she
her plan was really just like I gotta guarantee I pass.
yeah.
So
Uh,
she's just taking out everyone else.
dude, she took on the Ranker and she won. That was cool. She, like,
Yeah,
tricked him, you know?
she's intelligent.
Yeah.
And we also saw some backstory for Dorsey.
Like what?
But just like like she just like killed literally everyone in her
Oh, yeah,
family.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, how she was, she was like, "Well, the winners eat real food, and I gotta eat and everyone who's a loser eats bread." And she's like, "Well, at some point, I was the only one eating," and then it pans out and see everyone else dead.
She just iced everyone.
Yeah, which,
And then
yeah,
it's
go
just
ahead.
great. I was gonna say like Bam asked her like, "Do you remember what that bread tastes like?" And she's like, "To be honest, I don't remember what bread."
Yeah,
It's like I hate the taste of bread. I don't remember what it tastes like at all.
yes. Um, we also saw that she has, like, a kind of a soft spot for, like, lizard girl, I don't remember her name, like,
Oh
green
yeah,
lizard girl.
so yeah, they're hinting at like everyone's like showing like their own plans. Like Kun's showing his plan. You already seen his plan.
Yeah,
You already say who he wants to climb the tower with. That list is like his proof
mhm,
of what he wants. And Dorsey similarly also wants to climb the tower. She wants to go with a knock,
yep,
as alluded by as like I've already found someone who I want to climb with.
mhm.
Immediately pans to her.
Yeah, it does.
So
It was a really nice
it's like
moment too.
okay. Mhm,
It was a really nice moment when, they cuts to her and she's in the cafeteria and she's with her team and they're, like, doing her hair and she smiles.
mhm.
It's like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, it's like the funny thing is like they started out like not the best people to each other. It's
Yeah,
like one of those like they just softened on each other. They grew. It was really just one interaction, really. It was like their big fight. It's
Mhm.
like they talked and they're like, "How was my mom?" And it's like, "No, she was chill, dude." It's like she was chill.
Yeah, she was chill. She was good.
It's like, how was she as your mom? He's like, she was chill. It's like nice. They just bonded over
Nice.
that.
Uh, we also see more proof of Bam just being dope, of
Mhm.
him copying the Ranker's technique immediately and
After seeing it
freezing.
just once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And then freezing not only him, but Ho as well.
Mhm.
But that was really cool. Um, I don't really think much else happened. We saw the silent guy that Rock was with. He just
Mhm. Of
disappeared, which I assume he, like, sensed something wrong with Rachel because they were on the same team, right? And,
course, of
uh
course.
And yeah, I assume that's what happened, and then Rock it cuts back to him a few times, and he's just, like, looking around, like, "Where is he?" Oh, that was funny. 'Cause, like,
Rock's
they're also
great.
kinda friends now at this point, you know? They were both eating
Mhm.
the chocolate
They're
bars
just having
together.
a good time, dude. They're just
Yeah.
having a good time.
They also both and you mentioned this last time, but both of them passed immediately without having to do
Yeah.
this test, which is
Yeah, they
cool.
don't have to do this test. They passed.
Yeah, and, yeah, I mean, Bam just being like, "Hey, I don't care what you tell me to do in Dorsey, I'm gonna do anything I can to save Rachel," which we
Mhm.
already kinda knew that was his
And then
his whole
Dorsey's like,
thing.
"Well, I mean, I'm not gonna support it, but like, sure,
Yeah.
whatever. That's fine. It's your choice."
During their fight too, we, kinda got tipped off that she does care about Bam, or at least for the sake of her own, being able to climb the tower,
Mhm.
because she was fighting the other 2 dudes. The
Mhm.
one dude with the ignition sword, which I thought was cool.
Mhm. Yeah, and Dorsey's an interesting character. Again, one of the more interesting characters to look at, especially going forward in the series.
Mhm.
Being that she's a princess, I mean, it's also a very important aspect of that as well,
Yeah, yeah,
is to
totally.
keep herself to that, and, like, she's just ruthless as well, does not care.
She wrecked both those guys,
Mhm.
like, immediately. Oh, and then there was also the samurai dude was, like, super cool. He was like, here's the
He did
plan."
everything correctly.
Yeah, everything right. He's like, "Here's the plan. I'm gonna draw this guy out. You two spear guys, fishermen, get him." You know what I mean? Get him. And he did it. He was kinda not that great at first, but then he lured the ranker out. The ranker thought he had him. He grabbed his hand. He had a really cool quote of like, "I've trained to use swords since I was young. When I grab onto something, I never let go." And I was like, "Oh, man, the ranker's gonna get it." And then he called out, and the fisherman ran away. And then
Mhm.
and then we have a dialogue between them where they're like, "Oh, yeah, there's no way that that samurai guy is actually gonna stop him, so us running away was the right thing to do." I'm just like, "Ah, he
Technically,
had him."
yes, they're right. They're right. They're right. In,
Yeah,
like, 99% of cases, they'd be right.
and
Turns out this
then
is the 1%, dude.
they immediately get their karma when the ranker jumps out of the shadows and just gets both of them, just destroys them.
I will say, I forgot until recently, but after watching that, the green one of the brothers, Pericule,
Mhm,
does come back.
okay.
He does come back later on. I forgot. I watched it and I was like, "Yo, that's Pericule, dude." He does come back, and it's kinda crazy. I forgot about it. I'm like, "What a coward," but he does come back.
Yeah, coward.
He's a funny character when he comes back. It's great. It's nice to see him again.
We also didn't see anything, like, come of this, but we saw that, like, red-haired girl, I think she's also has, like, a eye patch or something, and she was, like, in the shadows that whole time
Yeah,
with,
she's just watching everything go down.
yeah, and so I was like, "Is she the one that, like, wrote the note?" Because I don't know if we ever saw who wrote
Who
the
wrote
note
the
to that dude, the horn
mhm.
dude, and was like, "Hey, if you wanna climb the tower, do this." So maybe she did it because like, she was, like, being all sneaky and stuff.
Well, who do you think wrote the note? Do you think it's her?
I mean, that's my first guess because again, she's just
Mhm.
there, like, watching
What?
everything.
Mhm.
She didn't go to help. She didn't, like, have a face of, "Oh, no, what's going on?" It was just super serious the whole time. I mean, Kun could be a good guess because he's just, like, a puppet master of everything, it seems.
He's, like,
So
20
he could
steps
have
ahead of
also done it.
everyone.
Yeah, he's playing 4D chess, you know?
When you think you finally caught up, that's what he already expected you to think that far.
Yeah. I mean, those are probably my 2 guesses. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't really know who
They're
else.
they're really the only 2 guesses you could have at this point. No one else
Yeah.
would really be.
Also,
considering.
those, like, higher ups, the
Yeah,
people
the
watching the whole
rankers.
thing,
Yeah,
they're
they could
cool.
also be on it. Y
The one that's, like, sipping the tea the whole time?
The one who's in charge, yes, of
Yeah.
course.
He's just, like, looking at everything. He knows everything that's going on. He's great.
Like, right now, on the 2 rankers who are observing the exam know that Bam is an irregular.
Yeah.
Only the red-haired one does not know.
Okay.
Mhm.
He just hasn't figured it out yet.
Well, no, he doesn't know. 'Cause, like, Lammermoor knows because he literally questioned him. He's like the first question that Bam asks is like, "What is an irregular?" Lammermoor
Mhm.
smiled immediately. He's like, "I got him now. This is easy." Lammermoor in his
Alright.
head is like, he already got these like, "This is why he's he withstood the wall of Shinsu.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
why he's with me
I
now."
was about to say that that was probably
Mhm,
reinforced by he
mhm,
immediately was able to just uh,
mhm.
get through the force field or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Lammermoor already knows, and the big hoss already knows. He's like, "Well, you got this side right here." He's like, "You have the power inside you and all this." He's like talking all his nonsense. He knows what he's talking. He's like, "This is." It's like they already know, and they're like, "This is why they passed this thing." It's like you underestimate him, dude. This guy can do anything.
Mhm.
Think of Bam as like a sponge, dude. Is like the best. You think of him as
Yeah.
you sponge.
I mean, he's just a natural, he just kinda floats through the plot, you know, as like, "Oh, I got this, I got that. I'm trying to get Rachel," but, like, there's, like, really nothing stopping him except for
Mhm.
himself.
And Rachel.
Yeah, and Rachel, yeah. That was also nice too, where this is the first moment where Rachel
Mhm.
ac Rachel acknowledges Bam,
Mhm.
I didn't get my toy to play with today.
Oh,
Where is it?
Rashawn's room. Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
where Rachel actually, acknowledges Bam.
Mhm.
She, like, looks up at him and she's like, "Why'd you follow me?" or whatever, puts, like, her hand on his face and stuff.
Mhm.
So kinda breaking the
The
finally
illusion.
breaking down, yeah, the illusion of, "I don't know who you are.
The thing
I'm
is,
not Rachel."
Bam knew it was her.
Yeah,
Rachel knew it was him.
yeah,
Quinn knows the truth, but he chooses the lie. And then Bam reads Quinn easily and is like, "Listen, I know you're like," to himself, he's like, "I know you're lying to tell me
yeah,
this." He's
yeah,
like, "You don't have to do this." And then Dorsey too, as well, breaking it as well. I gotta flip this again because my head goes back weirdly sometimes. Like breaking that as well with him, where it's like, yeah, they all know. And then Dorsey also had Rachel, like I think in one of the early episodes with, why are you running away from him? Like, what does that mean to you?
mhm,
Like, I don't understand what that does to you. It's like going away from him. He seems like a good person to climb with.
yeah.
Mhm,
They were they were talking, I remember Rachel explaining it and Rachel, yeah, yeah, kinda being like, "We can't be together, it's bad for both of us," and Dorsey was like, "No, I think it's just bad for you. You know, y you're running away from him for selfish reasons, not because you're caring about him," and then
mhm.
Rachel kinda had a face of, "No, that's not why I'm doing it," but, like,
But then
it
just
seemed
like,
like it
oh
should be.
snap, she's right.
Yeah. So it's like, what is Rachel hiding? Why does Rachel wanna climb the tower? Why does
Mhm.
she not want Bam with her, you know? And maybe it's from the past of when they were together and something we haven't seen yet or something.
Obviously, Bam really has no memories, honestly. Like, Bam
Yeah.
was trapped there, sees Rachel. That's his memories.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the B plot of the princess who gave him the sword to come back around.
Oh, Yuri to come in, but
Yeah, because like, they're characters that we saw in the first episode. We've seen, like, once since, just, like, a quick shot of them.
mhm.
I don't remember when it was, but, yeah, I imagine that we're not never gonna see them again.
Yeah, no, Yuri's great. So is her guide.
Yeah.
Her guide's also great. He's funny. I can't wait for the season to end because you're gonna be loving it, dude.
Yeah.
I say loving it because I don't know how you're actually gonna interpret this ending. It's fine. This is gonna end. You're gonna love it.
I think it's good so far, you know? I don't
Like,
know where it's gonna go next. I imagine we're gonna do another test,
yeah, yeah,
or I
of
mean, we're
course,
probably
yeah.
gonna get we're probably gonna get something about, like, uh, Bam and Rachel now know each other and stuff like that, so we're gonna get some scene with them, I'm sure, and, more stuff within Dorsey and Coon because 'cause they're always
Well,
there.
I think it's the last test is gonna happen in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. I don't think there's another test happening. I think it's just gonna be trying to figure out what's happening right now with the tension between characters.
Well, I
And I think
mean
the last test is going to happen.
yeah, I mean, episode 9, so 3 more episodes until the season's over.
Actually, 13.
Oh, 13, 4. Oh,
Mhm,
wait, yeah, 4. So, there's not, like, a whole lot
mhm.
like, real estate left to actually play with.
The
So,
last episode is gonna be crazy. Just
yeah,
can't wait.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, these next couple episodes are also gonna be crazy as well for other reasons.
So, what about Sing Yesterday for me?
Once again, this show somehow hits realism, dude.
Yeah.
It just it's I'm happy. It's showing like realistic relationships, and I can never get upset. I talked about this already, but like I like it because it does should display them in a realistic manner.
Mhm. Yeah, so, let's see.
Your man's has like his full time job.
Yeah, went from part-time to full-time,
Yeah,
which is
he's quit
why
his job at the convenience store.
we don't see him at the convenience store anymore.
Haru is always like the saddest character in the show.
Yeah.
She
We have that
loses and then
we have that scene with her talking to Uzumi
Mhm.
and then him being like, "Hey, you don't have to, like, wait for me after work every day anymore, it's gonna be late," and stuff like that, and then she's just like, "Nah, I like doing it. It's for me," but then she gets, like, really sad, and, it's almost like to me anyway, it's almost like he was kinda telling
saying you
her
don't have to wait for me. You
yeah,
leave me alone.
yeah, basically, where it's like, "Stop," but, like, politely, and then that's why
Mhm.
she got super sad, and then even the last shot we see of her in that scene is her hair covering her eyes, so it's almost
So
like she
sad,
was
dude.
yeah,
She's
like
suffering.
yeah, and she was like, "Bye," and, like, super happy, but, like, definitely not, and I was like, "Oh, man.
It doesn't
Why?"
help that the ending theme for the show is like the arcade machine.
Mhm.
I don't know if you watched all of it, by the way, or you
What?
just like stopped.
Of
So
what?
if you watch the ending theme for the show, it's just the arcade machine of her riding on her bike in like an
Oh,
arcade minigame.
yeah, yep,
And at the end, it says "Game Over"
yeah,
with like Uozumi and then the teacher
yep, Shinako.
just like together, and it's like, yikes, dude.
Yeah, that's tough. You hate to see
It's
it.
like, yeah, I hate to see it, dude. She just does not get the happy ending, apparently, at least in the arcade machine.
Man, it's sad because I don't want, him and Shinako to be together.
Of
I
course,
feel like Shinako had her chance, and then
she gave up on it twice now. I mean,
yeah,
she dodged him the first time, and that was like, according to everyone, it was like the perfect opportunity.
mhm,
My man could have done. Also, that legitimate was the perfect opportunity for him too, because literally she said you got to be pushy. You know what he did?
he just
He was
walked away,
not
he just
pushy.
yeah, he just gave up.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's fine. Okay, we can leave then. Okay, that was she literally said be pushy, dude. Man took it, and he's like, so I'm
Th
leaving.
yeah, so anyway,
It's like
yeah, but, like,
literally tells you. But I
with
mean, that's the amount of density that normal people have, though.
yeah,
Like it's like he had the realization after he sat down, like most people would have. It's like, oh, 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 I should have. It's
yeah,
like in the moment, it's like, well, I'm just happy because it just felt uncomfortable.
mhm,
It's like, but it's like she did say be pushy, but like he's not thinking about that. He's like, well, I mean, he's like in the moment, you're like, you're not. He's not analyzing this
mhm.
like full brain power. He's just like chilling. He's trying to figure out. He's like, yeah, of course, yeah. That's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna leave now. Okay.
Yeah, because in the moment, he doesn't realize what's actually happening until afterwards, yeah.
Sits down, talks to his friend. It's like, yeah, you screwed up, dude. You
You're messed up.
screwed up big time.
So, like, I wanna ask you because you might, pay attention more than I do. What is Shinako's relationship with Rue and his family? They're not family, are they?
They're like childhood friends, dude.
Childhood friends?
It's like they used
Okay,
to live in the same village.
okay,
Hmm. And like, so that's why she like, no, like the past episode, she went back to the village to like see his things and everything. With like the
mhm,
father. So that's where they grew up, and then she moved from that village over to like the high school where like they met up and became like high school friends, and then they all went to college together. You know what I mean? It's like
okay,
that's like before that though, like middle school and beyond, that was like where they grew up in that one village. And then the dad and like Rue like moved out, and now they're living here, and that's where he
okay.
goes to school. You know, he's in his art classes and all that stuff.
'Cause, like, I just couldn't remember. It felt so weird that she's here making food for them. It's like,
Again, like
why?
it's like like it's like the weirdest thing where like she's technically a part of their family. They like let her in.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's because they were that close. Like, I guess their houses must have been, they were neighbors. They must like always hung out together. It's like I guess like it's just expected, and it's like, well, of course, like like and then like she like the father knows, Rue knows, like she liked the brother, so like they're gonna let her in.
Mhm.
Like this, she feels like she's just like paying them back for all the stuff they've done for them. It's like it's really weird. Always bringing up that the brother's dead. Oh
Yeah,
man. And even like her teacher friend is like, dude, you're an absolute idiot. What are you
yeah.
doing?
That
Like,
was a
what do you
nice
mean you did
mirroring.
nothing? What do you mean you did nothing? Twice.
Yeah,
Mhm,
twice. That was a nice mirroring of that scene with, the
mhm,
same exact scene with Uzumi and his friend of, like,
mhm.
you messed up, you had these chances,
You
you didn't
done
take
goofed?
them. Yeah, you done uh,
And
with, and then the ending is, going off
Rue
of the
just
whole
opening door.
yeah, so, next episode is probably gonna open up with a conversation between them 2 because,
That
there's all
spiky
that
tension. Spiky
yeah,
tension.
all that
Spicy.
tension, he wasn't expecting to see her there,
First of all,
she
like, she hasn't been there for like how long? It's been like at least a week or something, you can assume.
mhm,
You know,
yeah.
she's been like that isolation. Come back after a week, it's like, well.
She was even kinda talking to herself and being like, she maybe shouldn't be here right now,
Mhm,
with I don't know, with just everything that's going on with, like, her feelings towards him,
mhm.
whatever level they're at, her feelings towards Uzumi, whatever level they're at, like
The sad thing is like that relationship can never work because you will always see her brother in him.
yeah,
It will
yeah,
never work out the way he like it will eventually turn to one point where she's like, I will always see your brother in you. And that's the part that would hurt him the most.
mhm,
He can never get past that. That will always be his barrier. He cannot reach any farther than that. And that hurts him the most.
yeah, he'll never be sure if it's real or not,
Mhm.
you know? I
But
like,
somehow
no
it hurts, dude. It hurts. Like there's no
yeah,
happy ending for this.
I know, it's
This
crazy.
this 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 rectangle parallelogram, this can only go wrong.
Yeah, whatever orientation this eventually falls into, it's it's not gonna be good, whatever it is.
So you could say like best case scenario. Ironically, the best case scenario is the worst scenario. Shinako and like they would have like the most stable, you know, somewhat
Mhm,
decent relationship. Any
yeah,
it would ruin everything, of course, between every other character relationship possible. But it would be like the most stable one possible.
yeah. It's just so weird when there has been so many opportunities for that to happen, and it just hasn't, with one reason or another. So, like, for it to end with them finally together, I feel like it would feel shallow, you know?
It would,
Of
yeah.
like, "Oh, I guess they're together, cool," you know? After all this
Again,
time.
it's the most stable one, and then like yeah, Uozumi and Haru, and that would just be it would be its own adventure. Like again,
Yeah,
it's Haru's best end, and then like you're just leaving like Rue and the teacher, they're gonna be like chilling on the side. I don't know what they're gonna do, but like Rue's never gonna be happy in any outcome in this scenario.
yeah. Mhm.
He will always have the bad end, and if Haru gets left, she'll have the bad end immediately. She already has the bad ending right now
Yeah, right now,
lined up for
it's not
her.
going good. Yeah, I
Shinako
don't
has like her own thing going on. She's
yeah.
messed up. Uozumi's the only naturally decent character, and even then, it's like, come on, dude, you're screwing things up left and right. It's not even.
Yeah, that's the thing, they even had a line in here where Haru and Shinako were talking, and they were like, "Uzumi is the type of person that takes forever to make a decision, but then when he does, he just goes
That's
all
it.
in,
Yeah.
you know? And that's kinda how he's being with this whole relationship stuff where he just hasn't sat on one side of the fence yet. He hasn't
Mhm.
fully decided on one person or the other, and I think that
Right
that's
now,
what
he's
both.
leaning towards Shinako, but I mean, let me
Yeah,
tell you, it's like you're hitting the fence there, dude.
yeah, but
I
he
say,
hasn't finally made a move yet, where
mhm,
it's like, yeah, he's definitely leaning towards her, but every opportunity that comes up for him to finally, like, be a part of it, he hasn't taken it.
I said that one may be the most stable. I lied. The most stable is it was gonna be Haru. No joke. No questions asked.
Why is
It
that?
is the most stable. Why? Because there's no downside, dude. What is the downside of Haru?
Well, I mean, I agree for
The
their
downside, the,
side.
the, the downside for Uozumi is that like, oh, this ain't Shinako, but like, doesn't matter because he already has some feelings for Haru as well already.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I think if I had to guess if, like, what pairings would happen, I think that is probably the most, believable
mhm,
since I do think over the show so far, uh, he has developed more and more feelings for her,
mhm,
I think that that's Haru's biggest obstacle is to get him over Shinako,
mhm.
you know?
I think Shinako's like how many years ahead of you, pal, and you're you're just playing the game late.
Yeah, that's true. Mm.
It's like player two has finally joined the chat. Well, it sucks to be you. Player one's been here for like ever.
Player 1's level 100, so you have a long way to go.
It's like player one's level 100, but they just stayed at level 100. They haven't hit like the max level yet. They just coasting.
Yeah. We're doing way too many side missions.
It's like you have the opportunity now. While they're coasting, you can grind up. This is the time.
As the show goes on, I I put some credence into the thing you said last week,
Mhm.
which was the show might take a very, very dark turn.
Oh, it can take a dark turn, dude.
And especially after this episode, I'm like, something really awful is going to happen by the time the show ends.
Like, first of all, Rue is not the dark turn. He's not the dark turn. I guarantee it because he already knows what he wants. It's the saddest thing possible.
Mhm.
If he's the dark turn, it's a cop out. It's an easy cop out to do. Everyone else, a way better dark turn.
I think the difference between Rue and Haru is that for Rue it seems hopeless, but
Hmm.
I, I think he's more aware of it that
Hmm.
this will probably never happen. Like,
And that's what hurts him the most.
yeah, with Haru, I don't think she thinks that. I think she thinks there is very much a chance that this
Well,
could
there is.
happen.
She's right. She's right. There
Yeah,
is a chance.
which is why, like you're saying, with Rue, the dark turn probably won't be with him because of how aware he is. But like with Haru, it could all come crashing down and it'll be very real for her.
I'm already feeling it, dude. We're only halfway in, and it's like
It's just bad all around.
episode 8. This. Imagine this being halfway.
Yeah.
It's
There's
just
18 episodes.
we're 18 episodes. I thought it was like 16. I'm sorry.
No, there's 18.
Okay, well that's more than
I
the
thought in the
next.
beginning there was 13, but I must have looked at it and the 3 look the
It's like
8
an
must have
8.
looked like a
Mhm.
3, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a very sad show by the end of it.
I recommend watching Pancreas. If you watch Pancreas, I'll see if I can catch up on something else to chat about. Maybe I'll
Pancreas
catch up on.
is a movie or a TV
It's a
show?
movie. It's a
It's
movie.
a
Yeah, but
movie? Yeah, I'll watch
I'll
it.
I'll announce right now. If you message me if you watch Pancreas, I will rewatch Pancreas just so we can at least talk about that in
Okay.
full.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
Because
definitely watch it.
I'll rewatch it just so I can like at least have a feel for what's because like Pancreas, I already have an idea of what's going on in Pancreas, like in my head.
Mhm.
I'll rewatch so I get the subtle stuff that's happening.
Oh, yeah, definitely, to, like,
Mhm,
just, like, remind you. Yeah.
mhm. 'Cause like
Yeah, that makes
there's
sense.
stuff that like I already know like the big overarching stuff that happens.
Mhm.
Like I can like point and be like, ah, yes, this happens, and this is the line to the timeline. It happens in Pancreas. I can't tell you the subtle stuff that I do off the top of my head.
Right.
But like I like to note that stuff. Like a Silent Voice had like a bunch of nice stuff in it. Always stuff with like
Yeah, it did.
rivers and fish
Yeah.
was a very big thing in Silent Voice.
I wanna rewatch that at some point.
What I should actually do, I should recommend you to read the manga.
Oh, of Silent Voice?
Only because I would like for you to read the film subplot
Oh, yeah,
that they cut from the movies.
I remember you telling me about that, about how, like,
Mhm.
there's this whole thing that just isn't in there.
Yeah, because like there's like it's again that's why I see them as two different works in my head. I can't keep like normally with anime and manga I can like mesh them together somewhat. The film subplot is so important to what A Silent Voice was,
Mhm.
where they made a silent film. You know what I mean? In the making of obviously in the for like their school project for the festival. It's
Yeah.
like how the festival's going on.
Mhm.
That's what they were doing. It's like all the times they're meeting up in the show and the movie, they're supposed to be working on that silent movie when they're meeting up.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're all meeting up. In the movie, they phrased it as, "Oh, well, we're just hanging out." You know what I mean? So we're all just gonna come together, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, a decent way to explain it. But like, they're all there for like this one school project.
Yeah, like, that's the thing that actually unites them and makes them actually be a group, and, like,
Hmm.
it's, like, gives them reason as to why they're together and, like, why
Hmm.
they're, you know?
And like, they completely cut the teacher segment when the teacher comes back. The teacher comes back, dude. I, I hate the teacher so much with a passion. It hurts.
Yeah.
Like, how like we talk about hated characters in Silent Voice. This is gonna bend back to something that people don't understand. So this is gonna be who did you hate the most
Who did I hate the most?
in Silent Voice? And I remember
Oh,
this is like where we had our differences on the main
yeah.
cast, at least for the movie.
Yeah, I hated, it was probably that one girl that was, that was just constantly mean to the deaf girl. Like,
Yeah.
even years after, like, it all
Mhm,
ended in, like, "We're not children anymore, we're adults." You're
mhm.
still, like, making fun of her and stuff, like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. And
I'm
then
pretty
I
sure it
had
was
that,
her.
and then I hate you with the one that I hated the most, which is the quiet one, who just bullied people in silence
Right,
and never
yeah,
spoke
yeah,
about it. Mhm,
yeah, and, like, how would she would try to explain herself of being like, "Oh, well, I never said anything, I was the one in the back," but
mhm.
she was behind the scenes still talking to everyone else.
Yeah, and pulling the strings as well, like doing her
Yeah,
own label thing. It's like stuff that
yeah,
wasn't like really easy to notice, but like did have her hand in.
mhm.
Really, so it's like yeah, 'cause no one was really good, you
Just a
know.
terrible group of people, you know?
And then Sahara was like she tried her best, but it was also like how
Yeah.
best do you really try? Song voice, top
It's
tier,
good.
slap it on.
I'm pretty sure I gave it a 10.
I gave it a 10.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, it's wonderful.
You know what movie is better than? Girl Who Left Her Time.
I was gonna say Cars 3.
Oh, no, yeah, it's definitely that's not even close.
Girl Father Time is so dude. I wish we could just go back to the time we just watched it with our first time.
Yeah. We should've never went back to it. We should've just kept it
The thing
as it
is though, like
was.
we were going deep into we went deep.
Yeah.
We were so deep. It was like, oh man, all these cool things, this different plot here, it's gonna be so great. We had notes, we were like ready to go in.
Yeah. Yeah, we just
Uh I think once we hit like half an hour in, we're like, this is gonna be off.
yeah, we just end it now. It's just
And we watched it all anyway.
it was just very disappointing.
Pancreas will be fine. Pancreas will be good.
I hope it is.
It's not gonna be like that.
What if it
Because
is? What if
Pancreas has that great moment as any of those shows do whenever they have that death scene. In case everyone like needs to know, like it's always the meme, right? Or it's like it's the trope in like anime and manga where like there's like that one romance and like that girl's always sick that like she's going to die.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what's gonna happen when I want to eat your pancreas. It's already set up for you. You're like, man, she gonna die, dude. It's great though. When she actually dies, oh man, oh man. Like I wait for that moment sometimes, you know?
Mhm.
Like your lie in April, it's like it hits so good. My brother was like, "Why didn't you watch your lie in April?" And I'm like, "That may be one of the things I should have to do."
Yeah, I still have to watch that too.
No, because I read the manga, so it's like it's kind of weird to say like I read the manga for something that like is generally like about music, so you can already know
Oh
that the
yeah,
composition is
yeah,
gonna be good, and it's actual songs they're playing.
right.
I should probably so I can actually like listen to it, so I can be like feeling it and like, oh man, so this is what they were doing. Can't hear the notes, sadly, on paper. So I'll definitely do Pancreas, and I'll try to watch the first couple episodes of Space Force.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'll probably watch the next few. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it, just because it's longer episodes.
I'll try. I'll try and see how far I get because it's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, it'd be great.
I was gonna say there's a manga on here I found for you on my
Okay,
anime list. It's called Mermaid Boys.
okay. Is this is this a real recommendation or are you
Is a joke recommendation,
okay?
but the summary is the mermaid prince is super popular with all the girls lining up to be his bride, but the one he falls in love with has legs.
Ah, classic. How close is it to Little Mermaid? Because that is where I get all my mermaid information from.
Well, let's see the review that Hanbei Cat left here. Left
Okay.
at 8 out of 10.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Merman sees girl. Merman falls in love with girl. Merman makes a contract to give up his good looks. Merman finds out he's a scrawny boy now as a human.
That sounds like Little Mermaid, but in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently it's like a huge manga sale. Apparently you can buy like Fairy Tail Volume 1 of Happy's Heroic, whatever this is, for like $1, dude.
Oh, nice.
So some people might want to check out the Mountain manga sale.
Do you know what else I can do?
I don't know, really like Kakegurui?
That's actually one of those that's been on my list for a while.
Pretty good. Uh, uh, it's decent. It's
Okay.
what you. Kakegurui is just one of those where like you know what you're getting into shows.
How's it com- how's it compared to Kaiji?
The stakes aren't that high, dude.
Ah,
But I mean, instead it's like cute anime girls gambling. So
mm,
I will say it's more inventive with how they do it. There's like instead of it just being like straight like I think they have one where like there's like an idol. They have to like be like the best idol. So they take like a week to prepare.
mhm,
I mean that's a great spin on it. You know what I mean? Like it's like yeah, like be like the school idol, try to compete, and like it's like popularity. So they're gambling on who's the most popular at the end when they did their concerts individually,
mhm.
like who they get the most votes for. And like they're being rated on three things for that. And I'm like, that's kind of unique. It's a nice different spin. It's not like straight gambling. It's like it's like instead of the standard gambling, it's a weird like they do it just for this one arc where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna you got I want to be the idol for the school, so you got to gamble me and see if you're better than me at being an idol. If you do, I mean, like I vote for you because you're cool.
Okay.
And it's like okay, I guess I'll do it. So she just takes a week and she's like, well, we're gonna do it for this week, so we're gonna try hard,
Mm.
and like barely passes. I'm pretty sure.
Just like Spy Family.
But like I think the reason that it barely passed, I don't think Kakaguri is gonna get like a season 3 or whatever, is like because like some girl bought votes and like put them on one side, like on her team,
Okay.
like her rival,
Mm.
like bought votes to put on her, and it's like wow, that's crazy.
That's quite the twist.
It's like she would have just lost. But if you could buy votes, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? That works every time too.
Yeah, just do it.
It's like Kaiji trying to buy like at least in the card game. Was it the card game? It was like the one where it had like the rock paper scissors cards.
Yep.
We are trying to buy them off.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's trying
He's
to
like,
manipulate the odds of
he's
like
like, I have a
stacking.
perfect strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, because you never know what someone has left, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah.
To be
It's a
fair,
good
his strategy
show.
was pretty good. It was pretty good. So,
Yeah,
I don't remember if he won or lost off that.
yeah.
But yeah, Mermaid Boys. Uh, anything else? I guess Gleipnir's out this season. If anyone's interested in that, it's okay. The manga's okay.
What is?
Nothing special. Gleipnir or
Oh, yeah.
Gleipnir?
Yeah, I've been watching that, it's okay.
It's like decent. I read the manga. It's decent. It's nothing like too bad. What else we got here? I gotta watch. I guess BNA. BNA. That's cool.
Yeah, watch it, dude.
That's all the cool guys do. Check out BNA.
I don't know about all of them.
You're right,
Also,
dude.
there's another one called Kokushi Goto. It's the season. Should watch that as well. It's like 90% slice of life, but then 10% weird, like psychological, like mystery. I don't know what's going on, honestly. There's just these weird scenes that come up, and it's like this is like the future or something. But I don't know how they're connected. Some like weird dark turn happens, but we don't know what it is. This is supposed to be a nice slice of life, father daughter,
Reading the review is like some nonsense.
living life. Why?
It's like Kakushi Goto means secrets. Kakushi Goto is the father's name. Kakushi Goto is also a drawing job. So the
Yep.
entire thing is just an ironic pun. That's
Yeah, I guess.
the first review. I can already tell it's based on a manga.
Yeah, probably. It's just like Shirobako, manga about manga.
Oh, it's all the goods, dude. It's the goods.
Also, real quick, we talked, or I guess I mentioned Last of Us last time, right?
You
I don't know.
have, yes.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know how much you care, but they put out another Last of Us video
Let's go.
showing a bunch of like gameplay and stuff.
Okay.
I'm just super hyped for that. It looks like probably the most tense I'll ever be playing a game.
Do you think the leaks are real?
Yeah, they're real.
The
I think they're confirmed to be real. I just
question
there's
is like, are
nothing.
they gonna find the leaker?
Yeah, they already found him.
Okay.
They at first there was a story of like, oh, it was like Naughty Dog employees that were disgruntled with their pay and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it turns out it wasn't. It was just some random hackers who found a back door and, stuff like that.
Good job, man. Good
Yeah.
job. Protect their employees. Their
Yeah.
honorable employees.
But also that narrative also doesn't make sense of employees not happy with the job, so now we're gonna leak the game because you just spent all this time working on the game, so it doesn't make sense for you to leak your own game. Yeah.
Could probably like a future game.
Yeah.
That's on the works. I mean, what are you gonna do? If their boss is being real mean to them, they're like, I guess I'm just gonna leak the game.
I'll do it.
It's like, don't let me. Yeah, I have the backdoor code. I can get into the mainframe.
Not the mainframe.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna check Kakushi Goto, dude. That looks
Yeah, man.
nice.
It's good. It's not better than Tower of God, but
My
there's some
brother
people.
said Tower of God gives him those Hunter x Hunter feels
Yeah.
because like Hunter x Hunter has like the tests early on, so it feels like that.
Sure, yeah.
Mhm.
I do kinda like that Tower of God is almost, like, nonstop tournament arc, you know? Where it's just, like, test after test, you know? It doesn't really give any breathing room for anything else, which is
The
cool,
sad
I
thing is,
think.
like, no, like, if you think this is tournament, I can't wait for you to get God of High School next season,
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
which is just all martial art tournament arc. It's
I've
just
heard a
fight
lot
after
of
fight after fight after fight, fight,
heard
fight,
a
fight,
lot of
fight,
good
fight.
things, so there are some people thinking that, like, the next coming seasons might be a little weaker just because of, production being halted on a lot of stuff.
Could be. This could be the time Trigger rises, dude. Trigger could rise now.
Yeah,
The Trigger started with Inferno Cop. They know how to do the low budget.
they did, yeah. I mean, BNA is pretty good, so I think even if they were to tone some things down, they could put out some quality stuff.
I think you should watch Eva only when the movie comes out, the final one.
When does it come out?
It's supposed to come out this year, but it got delayed for reasons that I cannot speak about.
So I should watch the movie or I shouldn't start
The
the
movies, the movies. You should watch the movies because
okay.
you're not gonna watch the OG animation.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt your eyes. I know how you are.
Maybe one day.
But the movies are basically just retelling it, just obviously like shorten. At least like
Okay.
the first movie, shortens the arcs and like they change stuff up, and then from there on the second, third, and fourth movie are gonna be different
Mhm.
in ways, but still similar to what the original one is.
It's like a summary?
Essentially, the first movie you can consider a summary, but they also like add new characters and change up the plot a little bit, but the plot's generally the same.
Okay.
Because I need to watch those for my research video of trying to do the comparison between four series.
Are
Let's
you
do
actually gonna do
Gurren
that?
Lagann. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Gurren Lagann, Darling, Eva, Series One, that end of Eva combined with Series One, and then new Eva with their new series with their movies. Conglomeration of
Okay.
nonsense. Because
Sounds like a
they're,
lot.
I mean, like they're all basically like the same show.
Are you gonna rewatch Darling?
I'll have to. That hurts to say. Oh no, no. Uh, the soft spot. I felt it again.
I mean, but hypothetically, you've already seen it, so, you should be ready.
I'm already ready. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
Darling wasn't awful, awful. It was decent awful.
Yeah.
Because it was going really good places, and then it just went somewhere else. And I heard the manga fixed it, and then part of me wants to go read the manga to find out if it's true or not, but I'll
Oh,
never
yeah.
know.
It's always weird to me when there are shows that don't have any source material, and
Mhm,
then later on they get an adaptation into something like that, you know?
mhm.
It's like,
Yeah,
BNA is an
it's
anime,
OG. Yeah, it's
but,
OC.
like, a few days ago, it got announced that it's gonna get a manga.
Yeah, I read that. So maybe they're gonna do something similar, but like we're just expand upon it.
Mhm.
Trigger likes to do that, I guess. Something that I guess they done with this. I mean, I think they've done it with Little Witch as well.
Trigger, I think, is almost exclusively, like, original stuff.
Hmm.
They don't go off of any source material.
To be fair,
But
though, it's a way to go in both markets, though. Anime's decent, make money off that. Manga comes out, gets
yeah.
money that way as well.
I mean, a lot of times, a lot of anime is only made to sell the light novels, right? To get those numbers up.
Konosuba, dude.
Yeah.
Konosuba.
Yeah.
It hurts to say Konosuba because I mean, like, gosh, dude, Konosuba was so good.
It is, yeah.
The sad thing is that they could make a next season and they could be really popular, or they could do like No Game No Life did and just never return.
That hurts me so much. They, like, started to build a world that's, like, so interesting, and then We just don't get any more of it.
Was it Monogatari? That guy's still pumping out the anime, and he has like how many animes of his light novels?
Yeah, like 17.
A lot, dude.
Yeah.
He's still pumping them out. He's like, according to him, this is. He's like the animes are just as good as the light novel, and it's just a different setting.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That's pretty
And
cool.
apparently, he never had the main character designed.
How?
The main character never had design. Never had an appearance. He never drew the main character at any point.
Oh, okay.
So when the anime came about, they finally created him.
Yeah, that's weird.
He's
Well,
probably didn't bother though. It's like it's like he's the main character's not gonna be looking at himself really, for the most part.
it was always in first person then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, I
that
mean,
makes
like the
sense.
character, like the way the characters like so like there are certain arcs where like it goes to different characters, and then they speak from their own point of view,
Mhm.
but it always goes back to him though. So it's like and I gotta finish Fire Force as well. I'm late. I'm late on Fire Force.
Oh, I haven't finished that either. I got like halfway through. Where
Mage's
is it?
Bride, Recreators, Pop Team Epic, the Net Juno Susume show.
Yeah, you have to get started on that.
Gotta watch that one eye patch show.
I don't know what that is.
The is it the it's the rom com with like the Chunibyo.
Oh yeah, yeah. I, it's like one of my favorite shows ever. I give both seasons 10s,
All
so
right,
you
well
should
I
watch
gotta
it.
go. Ironically,
Oh yeah?
hmm
Okay.
we can end it real quick with something really funny.
All right, go ahead, Ray. It's all you.
Let's look at Wikipedia's front page. Hold up. Also, I did do the survey for Wikipedia. Thank you very much.
Okay.
What is trending right now in Google or Wikipedia? Third degree murder. George Floyd. Okay. Murder
Oh,
in
nice,
general.
nice. Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Way to way to just just
Jacob
tank the
Frey.
mood.
Featured article day is Samuel Muldy, American Catholic priest born in Virginia.
That's my 7th favorite state.
Oh, because I read Rick Riordan, it's recommending me Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson Olympians, Titans Curse, Sea of Monsters, and Camp Half Blood Chronicles. Why is Elon Musk trending anyway? This is Wikipedia for you.
Okay.
Also, have you heard about the Imperial Royal and Noble ranks, by the way?
No.
Okay, so like obviously you got like the king, right?
Sure.
You got the queen,
Mhm.
then you got the prince, the despot, the duke, and there's a bunch more leader names. There's a bunch here, dude. You got like the Pope of Rome.
Mhm.
Wonder who that could be alluding to.
I don't know.
The Patriarch, Dalai Lama, the Caliph.
Dalai Lama?
Sure, man. The Boomy. Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh, man.
The Boomy, dude.
That's Aang's friend.
Yeah, man. Boomy. Or like the Archduke or Archduke.
Yeah. He's
Despot's
the
kind of
dude
cool.
he's the dude who died and started World War II. World War One. One of them.
Ferdinand. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, dude. Then you got the High King. Oh, he's like above kings, dude. The
Oh,
High
man.
King rules over other kings, dude. Imagine declaring yourself the High King of Europe.
It's like, uh it's like Zeus being the god of gods.
Yeah, just be like,
He's just like, "I'm above everyone."
I'm the king of kings, dude. That hurts. Emperor, Kaiser. You know, obviously you got the czars,
Mhm.
the Huangdis, monarchs and sovereigns. There's a lot, dude. There's a lot. You know, Wikipedia page for imperial, royal, and noble ranks. You know, in case you ever feel curious about that.
Just in case.
I mean, you know, I did. So
Yeah.
also saw Moana recently, so I can rank it. Moana gets like a 7 out of 10, dude.
Oh, okay.
Animation, 10 out of 10. No problems there.
Of course.
Actual story, 7 out of 10. Pretty basic. Feel like a wasted potential.
How much does The Rock bump that up for you?
The Rock it actually brings it down only because, and the sad thing is because I feel like they underused his character, and I mean
Okay.
underused.
Yeah.
His
So
character comes in like the second half of the movie,
okay.
or not the last 2/3 of the movie. Let's be honest,
The
okay?
second act.
From the second act of the movie on, and like they underutilize it, and or, like they do use it. It feels pretty cheap, but that's about it.
Alright, you got anything else, Ray?
Yep, that's it, man.
Alright. Last question, and it's a one thing. What is the best Percy Jackson book?
OG Percy Jackson,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Labyrinth, dude, 100%.
Labyrinth? Dude, totally agree. Yes. So glad you said that.
We're talking about new books. I was saying House of Hades last time, so
Yeah.
I still stand by House of Hades. Every sense of the word.
Alright, Ray. Well, that was
Right,
cool.
man.
See you later
I'd see you guys.
next
Peace
week.
out.